Hello chat, I'll be with you in 2 seconds. Hello? You got me? Hello chat, I'll be with you in 2 seconds.
Tempered by the fires of hell, his iron will remains steadfast through the passage that preys upon the weak. He set forth without pity and hunted the slaves of doom with barbarous cruelty. Unbreakable, incorruptible, unyielding. None could stand before the Horde but the Doomslayer. For he alone was the Hellwalker. With barbarous cruelty. Unbreakable, incorruptible, unyielding.
Hi chat.
None could stand before
There is importance to evil, as well as good in human nature. I am despicable, because I give free rein to violent impulses against the hedges. But that sense of freedom is also what makes me human. These streams, the numbers who tune in, as well as good in human nature. The passion with which we crave the destruction of those who control us illustrates the extreme of both freedom and suppression. There are those who would stand against us. They rightly claim we are unreasonable. They correctly accuse me of being filthy-mouthed, a raging aggressor, and they try to distinguish themselves. They are hypocrites. They fail to understand that we have higher ethics. Where we are going, there is only one end. It's a bloodbath. It's a massacre. It's a hellfire of vanities. If you can't handle me saying, "Go fuck yourself," to our enemies, if you don't appreciate my tone and my untamable anger, you have no place where we are going. You will not have the stomach for the ultra-violence that is to come. We are the product of evil. We were born into a world of thieves and liars. If you don't understand now, you never will. We are the natural-born human reaction to the bastards that run the world, and we'll have our fucking bananas.
We are the product of evil. We were born into a world of thieves and liars. If you don't understand now, you never will. We are the natural-born human reaction to the bastards that run the world, and we'll have our fucking bananas.
Fucking bastards! GME's at 184 and 28 cents. It's absolutely fucking tearing. If you're not aware by now, there are a number of people who rule the world. They have destroyed the opportunities that your parents had in life.
GME's at 184 and 28 cents. It's
Even if they did well, they would have done better. But millions, if not billions of people's lives have been ruined by these people. And we've fucking got them, guys. We've got them in a fucking corner. And there's absolutely fuck all they can do about it. It doesn't matter if it's 184, if it's 2 200, if it's 280, if it's 350, if it's 2,450, if it's 69,420, if it's 350,000, if it's 20 fucking million, it doesn't matter. We're fucking going there, we're fucking taking it there, and there's fuck all they can do about it. In fact, they're going to help us. Now, the neighbours have been knocking on the roof, so we'll tam it down for the next few minutes. And I'll endeavour to make sure that that particular neighbour knows all about it the next time I hear a row coming from his flat. So, welcome back to Tradespotting. How is everybody in chat on this lovely Tuesday morning? I can tell you that GME is doing very well. If you tuned in yesterday, you'll know that we called this dip, which looks rather exciting, to the cent. We anticipated it. We predicted it. We did the impossible. And now we're doing the inevitable. As you'll remember, we talked about the chances of a pullback because we were at resistance. We said, we don't enter at resistance. We enter at support. Price reached support, and we entered. We're now putting in what looks like a pincer candlestick pattern, yet it's at the top of a trending move. This current candle is what's known as a bullish engulfing candlestick. In 3.5 minutes, it will close at the top of resistance. Our enemies will shit a brick in about 3 minutes. This is a glorious day for us apes on our glorious, righteous mission. I'll get round to the technical analysis in 2 minutes, just after I check how everybody's doing. Look at all these donations. How fantastic. And people joining up as members. Fantastic. Great to see everybody. Oh, it's all true. Yes, the Romans built Hadrian's Wall. And those Romans made some good decisions. But few were better than that. And expect Citadel to build a wall too. A wall with their final remaining troops, with the last of their ammo. A fucking $1 billion and not a penny less, says Vic Vance. Daniel says, I think the Romans built Hadrian's Wall. We covered that. Yeah, rock on and spit truth. So, they built that Hadrian's Wall because they just couldn't take it, right? They knew that ultimately it was not, on one hand, it wasn't worth the fight because the tactics that they were up against meant that the cost was simply too great for them to bear. And so they decided upon a defensive strategy. This is similar to what Citadel will be doing. And those final...
I want my bananas, Rocket.
Look, how you doing? What a generous donation. Thank you. Welcome Joe Barham to the family. And Flash Bowski. Joseph Harris, welcome to Chimp. Space Captain says, smash the like button, y'all. Thanks very much. If you do that, it's much appreciated. I'm not a fan of foul language, but there is a time for it, and this is that time, says Joshua Stodola. Thanks, Joshua. Good morning, Meg Lee. Penny Perez, $10. And I love that sticker. Thanks, Penny. Yo, Andy. X-Titan Unicorn. Better now. Okay, what was wrong? Perhaps the volume. It may have been I was shouting too much, according to the neighbours who would all agree. Nellie Corin. Kiss. Thanks, Nellie. Autumn Grace, you've joined the family too. Thanks, welcome. I hope this terrible language doesn't put off those with a gentler composition. Lucinda, laughing. The Antichrist is there. Graham, hi Jamie, let's rock. Yep, we're rocking. GME is fucking rocking. Currently 186, 26, 187, 26, 188, 20, 187, 94. It's not like we didn't fucking warn them. I've been calling price action for fucking months over here. There was absolutely no need for this to happen. But on the other hand, there was every need for this to happen. Jimmy, you're the man. Thanks, RX Jim. Solid intro. Yeah, it was quite good, yeah. Jen rocks rat. Laugh my ass off. Space Gap, me too. Best intro ever. Alright, Jamie Jermack. Queen Bee. So no cam soft soothing voice today, huh? No, I've tried. Queen Bee, I've tried. I've tried so hard to be calm because I want to impart calmness and focus to you guys. But it's impossible, so why fight it, right? Instead, I'll direct it. Right to vote from UK. Somebody may be asking. We're going to build the wall and the hedgies are going to pay for it. Yeah, Mike. Funny one from Michael. That's funny. Everyone should congratulate Michael on the joke of the day. Travis. How's it going, Travis? Good to see you. We ride at dawn. We do. We're at 191.59 Holy shit. Let's check out on the 1 minute candle. Let's hide these drawings because it's a warning to hedgies about what's coming next. And I'll just tell us all. Well, there you're coming up for a positive cross on all of your EMEs on the 1 minute chart. Obviously, after that, you can expect a little bit of a test. And because we're at resistance, there's a tiny bounce. But that resistance was at 191.58. I told everybody yesterday that it was going at 197. You know what I mean? I mean, what are people's excuses, right? I'd love to hear them. I'd love to hear them. What about those guys going short? Rocky's stream yesterday was hilarious. With what was the guy? The moniker we came up with. He was using Deity Pastel. I heard he was going to burn my money. So, yeah, we're up $9.22, which is equivalent of over 5%. Markets have been open for a grand total of enough time to. Jimmy, I have to improve my language. Look at the volume on that, chaps. Look at the volume on that. You know what that we call that here? We call that bing bong. I had a vote yesterday. I'm not sure if you saw it. A number of people did. Let me just get it up in the background here and see if I can show you. We had a vote on my Twitter page. Here, as you can see. What would chat like to be known as? The Tradespotting chat. We were taking votes. Doomslayers or paper-handed bitches. With 212 votes, 2/3 of people voted to be doomslayers and 1/3 of people voted to be paper-handed bitches. That's approximately 63 people. 66 people. Or a number right in between those two. Voted that they want to be paper-handed bitches, which is deceiving, right? Because if we actually expand this here, a good number of those people liked this comment from Rocky. You said the other day that we were looking to become paper-handed bitches at its prices when its prices are in the millions per share. So I think we are doomslayers who would like to be known as the paper-handed bitches who sold at 19.5 million and went on to change the world forever. Now, not all of us will get that or aim for the 19.5 million target, though why not? You know, why not? I'll be streaming all of these price moves live and probably calling them all accurately as well. So why do that? Why not instead just follow along, watch price action evolve, and then as and when things may or may not have topped out, then make decisions about when to exit your position, and do it in a simple and beneficial way that will complement your strategy, your gains, and everybody else's. Now, we've had conversations many times about the potential to perform certain types of orders in order to capitalize on your position and the time at which to do them. I've had various discussions with people on various different brokers, and if all you're able to do, for example, say you're in the UK and you're with H&L, is do limit orders that last 24 hours and they can only be put in with a phone call, then do that. You won't get a live price reading from your broker, but you will be able to use a fill or kill order. And so your order will get filled at the current price, all of it, or it won't execute, and so it'll have no effect on the books. And if you do that at the right time, then you will get filled. And you don't have to trace the order books, because I'll be doing that for us here live on stream. Here we come, pull back on the 1 minute chart for that retest of these moving averages, which is completely normal. It's also the retest of support. May well evolve into something else, but this is what is also known as starting volume, which means that things are getting started. The worm has turned. On the 15-minute chart, you can see that what might appear to have been negative price action or a pullback is merely the start of this 15-minute candle, which is having not even what man might assume to be a reasonable retracement. This could be the start of something parabolic. It could take us to 197, as I predicted we would reach on yesterday's stream without too much difficulty. If it goes beyond there, we have various targets. I have to check some of these super chat messages. I completely missed that when I went to the story of the paper-handed bitches / Doomslayer, so I'll get back there and check what that is. And I'll see these messages here, so I can go these ways. Luke Spears, I want my bananas. Luke, you're going to get them. Vic Vince, a fickin' $1 billion. We got that. We got Daniel as well. Penny. Susie Chahab. $5 super tap from Susie Chihab. Thank you, Susie. That's very generous. Bye Bam Pajama, super chatted $5. Thanks very much. How you doing, mate? Good to see you. Annie super chatted another $5. Whoa, didn't see it at the time. That's very generous. Plus the other message. Thank you, my friend. Rocco Groupie, good to see you again. $6.99. Is it that true that FUD is a bad slang word? Oh, that was yesterday, yeah, with the FUD we were talking about. Okay, excellent, caught up. Great to see everybody. Thanks for everybody who's joined up as a member. Welcome to the family. I'll get down. I put slow chat on, which is only delays each person who's not a member's message, and only delays it by 5 seconds. And it's only so that members, mods, and myself can parse through things and read them better. Daily Drifted, Tradespotting, or Rocky Outcrop. What about eToro, who don't have limit sales? They allow you to choose trades or set a take profit, which is a stock market order, as far as I know. Yeah, eToro are one of the most problematic brokers at this particular in these particular circumstances. They only let you to set take profit, and it's a stock market order, as far as I know. So a take profit order doesn't necessarily have to be a stock market, and I don't understand exactly. I mean, I had no knowledge. Probably would understand it really easily. No knowledge of how eToro works exactly. I've always been put off by their simple premise of their idea that you copy other people's trades. There's literally nobody in the world's trades that I would copy, so I didn't use it, and nor do I think that it's ethical that people copy mine. So I kind of think that my personal opinion is that it's a fucking stupid idea, but they're doing very well. So, but it's it's off the back of your guys' money. So you think about where you want to use your money when it comes to this type of industry. There's bad options and less bad options. eToro, depending on, I'm not sure how it works, and if it is to only take profit orders or only function via market orders, that means you can only take liquidity from the books. You can't add it by putting in a limit order. You can't even do that. If that's true, I'd be surprised if there's absolutely no way of doing it, but it may be that way if they're all simply an electronic platform. In fact, like it's all on the internet and you can't phone them, then perhaps they could swindle you that way. I'm sure somebody will have a better option for you though, Daily Drifted, a better idea than I do. Jamie, who should play you in the movie? I think anybody who would like to, James McAvoy is a absolute legend. Can we get James McAvoy? I'd like that. Also, Ewan McGregor is a fantastic option. They're all good options. So Jamie Bell's similar, first name's the same. He's a nice guy, as far as I can gather from people who know him. And he's from Edinburgh, I think. At least he's got that vibe about him. And he'd be good too. But I'm easy, I'd happily do it myself. But it's not about me. Oh, it's a good time and that movie idea sounds fantastic, yeah. And people that are doing that are legends themselves. It's a good time to be alive. GME, go Bear. It's a great time to be alive. Let's hope that we can survive that GME will insulate us from the hellfire to come. Good to see you again, Queen Bee. Oh, yes, falsely see you. Oh, you're saying hello to each other. That's nice. Orny Zoomer, how you doing? Good to see you. Orphan Pipe. Rocky Out Crop. Okay, so we've caught up there. We've got the new members, some of them. And I'll look forward to speaking to you all. Shane Coombe, how you doing? iMusic, it's your shares. They are there to execute according to your instructions. Eric, it's a good idea to protect yourself however you can. Screenshots, tax attorneys, but most likely you won't have issues if you file your taxes. Yes. Take your time to file them properly. How about Johnny Vegas? Yeah, do we look the same? I suppose we kind of speak the same sometimes, don't we? Excuse me, I think my mic has got some static charge. Sacha Baron Cohen. Jamie Bell is good, but McAvoy would get the emotion range better and get that raw fuck you better. Colin Farrell too, he's also quite good at the old fuck yous. So Rocky and Paul B both with some good suggestions there. Capaldi. Yeah, he's also fantastic with the F-bombs, isn't he? I think that Capaldi would be a good option. Maybe they'd need some CGI or something, which might start increasing the budget, But we'll see. You'll do it better. Remember 2 weeks ago when you were stoked to have 500 people on here? I'm glad you're getting the attention you deserve. Fuck yeah, I am. I was still amazed at that idea. That hasn't sunk in, that 500 people were here at one time. And that's saying that in front of 723 of you folks right now. So, yeah, it's freaking crazy. And a lot of you that have tuned in who are recognising messages and names and all, you will be like grateful for the growth. And I am too. It's amazing. But most of the people watching probably aren't chatting. So they probably hear for other things. So I will get into the TA shortly. In the meantime, GME is at 186.68. As we would expect. We're at resistance, so there will be flux, and some people will take profits on a credible quick move like that. But today's the 25th, folks, isn't it? Yeah, today's the day that shit happens, is it? 25th, yeah. So if you're into the T21, T35 DD, then you'll be anticipating things like this anyway. And the fact that that all matches up with the TA, well, that's lovely. I think we've got the whole thing in our hands, don't you, chat? Doomslayers, Ewan Bremner. Oh, is that the chap that's which one's he? From Pinky and the Brain fame. Pinky and the Brain. If they could just make a Pinky and the Brain episode about this, I'd watch that on repeat. Conan era Arnold. Don't forget to press the like button. Yeah, just give it a wee touch there, a wee soft touch. Save your energy for slapping the hedge funds. Just lightly tap the like button. Show me the bananas. Yeah, well, I could get Tom Cruise to do it, but he's like, what? He's not the sort of guy who sits on a chair behind a camera a lot, right? He'd do it jumping off a mountain or something. This is my first time here. Nice to meet you. Alex Steven, great to meet you. Thanks, Fapping It. Nice to see you, Fapping It. Everybody who's new, Ian Weir, good to see you, mate. The Jiu-Jitsu guy, Andy iMusic Goblin Tourney, how you doing? Abu Grabraith, great to see you. Pigga, Shane Coombe, let's go. Right, it's 3i, it's good to see you again. Backyard Music. There's lots of people there. It's great to see everybody. If you've not said anything yet in chat, feel free to say hello. Everybody appreciates each other here. If you're new, I appreciate you stopping by. Thank you very much. I'm amazed that people are still finding the channel, seeing as over the last 3 videos, more than 50% in each of them, more than 50% of the audience have come from outside of YouTube. So we're here waiting for the day that YouTube decides to start promoting the channel, in which case it could really grow. It'd be great. I just got another donation. It seems like it's come up there. It's no, I want my bananas. That was that one from Luke. Thank you, Luke. Streamlabs late with the notifications. Russell Brand. Russell Brand's also quite good in many ways. Russell Brand's a nice guy. A story about Russell Brand, but I'll save that for another time. Ian Weir, good entrance point for the day. Okay, I'll answer that in a second. Ian, yo, Jamie, S is in the hissle. S is in the hissle. Good to see you, S. Welcome to the hissle. You're welcome. The Fook. Well, thank you. If I didn't thank you already, thank you. And I'm welcome. It's great to hear. Sounds like Jamie's going to have to take up extreme trading. Ironing, so Tom Cruise takes a job. Yeah, I'll have to do it with an... That's what I need to get Tom Cruise on board. I need an ironing board. Daniel Day-Lewis. Right, okay, so we're going to go and do some TA now. Everybody's happy. It's great to see everybody. Welcome to the chat. 753 people. Jeepers creepers. Thank God there's not too many more. I'd have to tell Dalai Lama story, and quite frankly, I wasn't really prepared for that yet today. 185. Perhaps now's a good entrance, Ian, but let's get in and look at those things. This volume is what we commonly, you'll have heard me call it on the channel, term things like this before. I tend to use like the same terminology repeatedly. This called "Get the fuck out of my garden" volume. That's what it's known as in the business. Second 15-minute candle, there was a retracement of about 50% on that. That's normal. Let's go over here and say, imagine for Ian's question. I think that's still got a bit to run if you ask me. But are you asking me? Yes, Jamie, they're asking you. Right, so maybe it's like that. That would explain the first touch. How do I see this going? There's too much stuff on this chart, isn't there, chat? Let's remove the stuff that's not relevant right now. Keep that on. We'll keep our EMAs on. This is our... I mean, we don't actually need this. This is wrong because we can use this fib. We can extend it up here. We can see if you got an entry at 179. Could you get that? Will anyone get that? Is today a day for that? If you do get that, it's probably not going to get it multiple times today. 178.72. I don't see that. I see now. I see my gut shouting now. But the TA says you might possibly get in at 179. I wouldn't fucking bet on that. This is not speaking 179. I'd be surprised if this ends up being 2 15-minute negative candles even. But hey, what do I know? 13 minutes to see how that goes. This could easily just be a wick. Expect it to be a wick. I can't call 1 minute price action. I have to stop doing that. People are going to get the wrong idea. And this is whether you know, obviously this is entertainment. It's certainly not financial advice. So, just because I've been accurate doesn't mean I always will be. There will come a time when I get things wrong. Oh, look, it is turning into a wick. Hope we got that order. Is anybody surprised anymore? Right, so I mean, this is a good entry point, Ian, for today. And that's only today I'm talking about. Mind you, today is a long day. Other people have decided it's a good entry point too. Let's drop down and see what they're actually thinking. That was that. We expected that. Tested across. That's still positive. That's a successful cross on the shorter time frames. And this is an evolution of this cross, which will of course be, well, it's all coming from this one, right? The 100 across the 200. This is what we're looking for here. There was 2 important crosses on this. It's only a 30-minute time frame. This is the 55 going through the 200, the 100 going through the 200. If you've got both of them, none of the other ones, like you don't pay attention to the others. 30 minutes. That was our cross. That came obviously at the bottom of this price action. This was the entry we were talking about. We also all know that 164.20. This was in and around the times that people realised that people like me had got orders here. I mean, everyone watching this stream will have heard me talk about putting orders in here. This is just an extension of that. This looks like the MACD cross here, but that was as a result of price action since this candle, which broke through this part of previous resistance, which is now that was confirmation of it as a support, and then you're nearly stick on for touching the highs again. So like that's why it's easy for me to call price action, because that's how I think about things, which happens to be the way things happen, which is because I think about them based on experience. Anyway, this isn't me congratulating me. Whatever. This is us tearing, ripping and tearing and ripping and fucking tearing. So pardon my language. Yes. So the reason I started with that intro was because I noticed there was a number of people who've failed to take me down with their criticism of my technical analysis, who've now had to admit, some of them publicly, that they're actually quite impressed, which is fucking means nothing to me, because impressing those sort of people is like wiping muck off my shoe. And now what instead they've decided to do is say that, well, yes, but he doesn't he's got a filthy mouth. He speaks with a filthy mouth. Oh, my webcam was back. And like, that's fair enough, right? It's all very true, but at the same time, couldn't give a fuck, mate, right? If you don't like it, fuck off. End of story. Nobody's fucking inviting you here anyway. Like, this is like, you know, come if you choose sort of thing. And if you could stop fucking reporting my videos, you'd save me about 15 minutes a day, which would be handy, right? YouTubes. So 184.52. That's what Ian's question was, as to where's a good entry point for today. The reason I'd say that like you want maybe that this is the candle to enter on is because this is the starting volume, right? Even if prices do come down again, this suggests that like some sort of change of pace, and you can see looking back, and it's happened. Some relatively similar volumes happened at different times before. It was on this move, right? Sure, there was a bit of a retracement. If we take we ourselves know that was natural because it hit here, resistance. If we take the fib back, which we did yesterday and last week, you can see that was a 0.5 retracement, or a 236 on this move actually, or a 382, whatever it was. It was bullish. Let's just do it again. When it came up here, price action touched the top, came back down to 382, yeah, and then it went on again, broke its previous high, put it in there. There was a retracement on price action down below what would then 382 had moved up. It went down just below that, really bounced off it, on again. So the 382 has been in this move the common retracement, and here we've hit let's put that as the top, and you might say if you're incredibly lucky, which would come on the other side of this starting volume, which has happened before, you know, like that's not all that different. Nice, thanks. Who was that? Hutch H. No, yeah, Hutch, not Hutch H. Hutch. Or Hutk H. Thanks very much, mate. Thanks for that. Yeah, I can't help myself anyway, as you probably noticed. Dead Money All-Stars. Those who can do. Those who can't need the YouTube money, so aren't allowed to swear. Yeah. It's very well put. So the 382 has performed like a common bouncy point, but like, who's to say that this is that high, you know? And like to put it in, even on a short-term frame, we'd have to go beyond the 236. In order to do that, we'd have to go beyond what is this support we put in. And at the end of yesterday, like it was subsequent to the yesterday ending, and today starting. Some of this was pre-market. Post-market was the down, pre-market today was generally up. So like this price action would have to go beyond 17956 to find the previous top as a top. If it doesn't, then this is not any way describable as a top, because the price for a start didn't come back beyond its previous low, which is your absolute most basic way of analyzing higher lows and lower highs, or lower lows and lower highs. You would always define it with the previous high and low. So that you would be then able to say, well, this was a high relative to this move. We'd have to, in order to do that, we'd have to go all the way back down at 165, which is at the bottom of a canyon that we've formed at the minute here, as you can see. So is that going to happen? It's very unlikely. There's various reasons why before you get there, you're likely to hit a 0.5 retracement point on this valley, at which point it would start bouncing again. That'd be akin to a cup with handle sort of thing, which is a continuation pattern. So it would fit very well, and we've seen one of them here. And we're in one larger one if we look across here, at which we've already put in the handle of. This is the handle, right? This is the cup. That's how that works. So your chances of getting down to that 382, which is a bullish retracement, are slim to none in the face of what we've seen now. So that was why my gut was saying, giving you an answer, Ian, and anyone who's asking, before I'd actually done the technical analysis, because it was kind of obvious to me, like that sort of trend in action, and it probably is to lots of people, not bigging myself up here when I say that's like, you would have felt that when you looked at it. And that's the reasons, because you're like aware, even if not explicitly understanding each nuance of it, you get a feeling, right? And I'm sure you've seen Deep Fucking Values on idea of, like a touch of what he says is that there is feeling involved, right? And so I'm not talking about feelings in terms of like chakras, or like, visceral things. There's like an extra sense to people who look intensively and spend a lot of time, as he does, analyzing like these fundamental aspects of a stock. And it's the same thing goes for somebody who's like spends all fucking day, every day, doing the same thing with the technicals. Anyway, so like it's not me. It's just like people that do this get good at that sort of thing. Anyway, so that's the point. So that's why I would have said at that point, right? And then that's that part of trading. I would very much advocate a strategy that comes from a place of risk management. So then making your decision on when to enter would also then include a stop. And if you had taken that entry, it would be obvious that your stop would go below the previous low, because you're likely to find a bounce at that point. The closer you can get your entry to it, the better. And I'm not advocating using stops in this market. I'm not fucking using stops. I'm talking about, we covered it, the price per share being extremely high. And so it doesn't seem like it's necessary for me, right? This isn't a risk-reward type of strategy for me. This is a completely different type of play, right? It's a market dynamics play. I've talked about this for ages. We all understand that. I don't need to go over that, right? This is a maglev of pain, not a choo-choo train where I explain how every fucking thing works. The point being, that was the entry, right? There's your 236. You'd be lucky if it got anywhere near that because of the state of these, like, fucking, this reaction to that, which is a higher low on this mini move. Plus, you can see we're in this formation. It goes something like this. Right, there's, you've got a touch on it, you've got a touch on it, you've got another touch on it, you've got another touch on it, and like they're reasonably well separated out. To get another touch right that soon, does it seem likely? I don't know. If it did happen, it wouldn't necessarily be positive either. And this struck me as positive, so that would be perhaps a good entry for today. But then that's looking at price action as it is in our immediacy. It may well be that over the period of today, we say that this is maybe a lower high. We've got on the RSI EME at currently, that's a convergent lower high. There's nothing neither positive nor negative about that in and of itself, but it's natural, and should in retrospect this RSI then get up to be higher than our previous move here, which it could well do over the period of, say, between now and lunchtime, where lunchtime went in the America, East Coast, and at that time, it may well be that we see price action has tested this demand line slightly higher up, which we would expect to see, because a lot of people, if prices don't drop down and goes along here, this is encouraging price action. People will want to be entering, whether it's painted on or not. I mean, it's going to encourage people to enter. That's the nature of this price action. So you could expect to see, like, and I couldn't call it a bounce, but you could expect to see some repeat of this volume candle. Not exactly the same, but like, look at these patterns. You know, there's subsequent to the big one, there's not like all of a sudden just no volume. It's changed. So some people jump in, and you can expect to see two or three. They're the most common examples right in front of us. So it may well be that there's some sustained action here. We hit up around 192, maybe even get up around what I was predicting yesterday. This would all happen. I thought this all from looking at things over the weekend with Rocky. We thought 197 was a stick on. If you tuned in yesterday, you heard all that. So like, that's what I'm thinking we're looking at. In the meantime, you know, if you see a 236 here, if perhaps prices get up in and around that price, then come back down, we've got 236 at 184, 185. And so that might be your price action for today, that we go and do something in around these levels. And for things to start off so brightly in the morning is very positive. It suggests that traders are getting their business done as the day starts, which is what usually happens. Most action happens at the start or the end of the day. And so it might well be that that's the case, that we see at some point a retracement to the 236. Maybe this is it now, and then price action like traces this line to the top, much like it did here over a period of 3 to 4 hours. Might see that, and then perhaps at the end of the day there's some people out there taking profit on that, and we finish up again around 190s. If we look left on the higher time frames, let's go to the 4 hour, you can see that if that was where I dropped this fib in at that level, because that was what, for various reasons which I explained at the time, we go back across, you can see that it's where we put in our high previously on this inflective point of price action, right? This is like a W, so if you traded anything for more than 5 minutes, you're looking at W's thinking, you can also look at this as an inverted head and shoulders, right? I'll draw the measured move of that again for everybody to see. But you can see this is a bit of inflective price action, because we were having what might be seen, is on the 4 hour time frame, is lower highs and lower lows, right? Here's a lower low than that if you were putting this in lower, right? It's also in and around this breakout zone, so it's not what I would do, but this is what some people are thinking. It's an example of the ambiguity. And then up here, this is, if it was a high, is lower than over here. Subsequently, we had a higher low, so then you're like, ah, shit, that isn't so simple any longer. But then we had a lower high, so then you're like, tightening of the spring. And now, if we break through these levels of previous resistance, we will have changed this pattern of lower highs and start putting in higher highs, which when we'll look back, we'll say, well, we also had higher lows. And instead of all of the mini moves that we've used to judge this on the way through, which have been reliable for us, then we'd define this is a low, this is a higher low, this is a higher low, and that's what you look at. And then you'd think, well, where's the highs? We say higher high, higher high, right? Once we break this level, these like mini areas, people are going to start looking back here. This is your inflecting points at 179. Hence why I've been saying 179 since forever, and then up at 330, 300 to 350 levels, right? So you'll have seen that in the thumbnail of this video, you'll have seen it, and we talking about it yesterday, and you'll have seen me talking about it all last week. And that doesn't mean that my powers of trading are better because I could see it further and further away in the future. That makes my particular strategy more and more reliable. I find that when I look at my own stuff back, that it's more impressive calling the tiny time frame moves. So whatever, point being that the technical analysis I'm doing at the minute, if I find it reliable, then it's only going to increase in its degree of how robust it is over if we confirm these things, right? So like the people out there who think, oh, I think Jamie's really good at this stuff, afterwards, you'll notice yourself that same feeling that people have about stocks, they'll have about me. They'll think, wow, I can really trust this guy, and then hopefully people will get behind the moves that we're all taking together, which should be very good for the price action on GME, and it'd be great for the MOASS. So if anyone's in two minds or doubts me or thinks perhaps, well, YouTubers, who wants to give them the credit or whatever the fuck it is, like, that's stopping you, anyone who's being reticent to think about it, do share this stuff with your friends, right? Share it now before it happens so that they can also believe. And then when we're up at like, you know, $2,450, and people are like, shall I sell? And like, because there'll be people out there telling you, sell. I mean, you've heard some of them already. Then maybe perhaps more of them will be tuned into me and less into that, and then they'll see like what I think, right? Which is, well, I'll tell you when we get there. So yes, we were hoping that our RSI would do that. So let's take a look at some more of our indicators, and as price action does little things that make us feel happy. So everybody will have seen yesterday this fib circle we drew on. I explained like why it relies on like 618s all the time, because they are the 618 golden pocket. It is the most frequently no, to say that is would be incorrect. It's the when price hits there and changes, those moves subsequent to the inflection point are more reliable than those moves after hitting any other fib. So when you're using a strategy involving like fib circles, which is it would be it would be a mischaracterization to say that it was esoteric, because it's actually fucking crazy way out there type of technical analysis. Most people have got no interest in even thinking about these things. But point being, right, if you want to see how it works, watch yesterday's video. So I'm going to remove it now because it's about as... It helps me. To me, this is as clear as an unmuddied leg, as clear as an unwanted leg, and as clear as an unmuddied lake. But other people get distracted by it, so there it's off. This fib, we've talked about it. That was if we take the move to our top. You could also say that in these inflection points, say price action gets to 220 areas, which we've talked about this before, it's likely then to come back and test in around 200, which at that point would probably be a really good buy. Again, you know, you ask yourself, like, why would you buy at 200 instead of 184? Well, this is giving you, we've already broken through resistance at that point, like truly we have. And so from a technical analysis point of view, you'd be even more reliable trading entries here. So you might think like, oh, but it's $16 up, that's like whatever it is, I can't bother working out, but close to 10% out there or abouts. Whatever. The point being, 8 point something. Point being, at that point, it's these prices we're going to be waving bye to them, and so it's not really like you would define it as maybe the way I put it in the thumbnail is like 220 as an area. It was only an area where you might see us hit one of these fibs, come back and go on again, and it was designed to be like, look back on this, and then people will see like, oh look how funny that is. That, you know. Anyway, fucking point being, there's where your 220 comes in. And we'll leave this fib on to see if that stuff happens ever, shall we? We could just hide it though. What will we do? We'll just make it one color. Hello? Where's the bar that shows me how transparent it is? I can't be bothered just deleting that because it's easy to draw on. Anyway, so all we're really left with on the chart now is our a simple and exponential move in averages. This little pattern, we're on the 4-hour chart, so like although you can't necessarily see individual candles moving all that clearly on here, you can see the overall picture we're in. So we're going to stick to that. So I'll explain a little bit more. These are the lines you see are horizontal support and resistance. This one, what is that at? You can see over on the left it's marked in 176.75. That was what we talked about as an entry yesterday, which was where prices pulled back, and congratulations if you got that. And if you're out by a couple of cents, which I saw a couple of people say, and some people had drawn their fib slightly differently and had it slightly lower and stuff like that. Unlucky, but there are other places to enter, and they may even be better trades from a perspective of like success rate. So we also don't need this formation on, really. If anything, it's a channel. They don't have Bilkowski wouldn't suggest that they have reliable measured moves, either top or bottom. And people can give you like anecdotal evidence or whatever, but it's not something I rely on. What could go wrong here, right? Well, it's back at 190.34. I can't be bothered having the what could go wrong conversation. It's not going wrong, is it? So here's that price action. Now, if it does turn out to be that was your entry, Mike, or that was the only entry people were getting, that's not like, whoa, look at Jamie's price action. That was quite an obvious one. I like to talking from whatever the fuck. You can tell me what other people are saying. So there's that. Looking at briefly over at AMC, has it got similar characteristics? Here's your resistance. Here we're through it. Went right up through it, back below it, touched the EMA again. You see, when you're in trending price moves like this, people are eager, and one of the few things you've got is your 21 period EMA on the 15-minute time frame. That's like as low as I would go on time frames and as weak as I would look for on Confluence to enter a trade. And the fact that it's happening when there was like the possibility of bearish divergence. This is a MACD in the 15 minutes, and it's giving us, what is that signal? Is that close? Oh, that's close, And so, yeah, that's very bullish. It's very bullish. As you can see, it's easy to get a feel for it, right? If you look about the MACD and you understand how it works, right? We're on 15 minutes, so it's not desperately reliable. Let's just go up to 30 minutes and show this cross. The cross came here, right? This was the entry flashed from the MACD. What's wrong with this? Well, that's AMC. I'm still on AMC. Anyway, I'm not going to do AMC TA. That's for Rocky. If you want that, tune in for Rocky later. He's the man for that. Anyway, yeah, there it is. That looks very positive. And your MACD signal was given there. And this is just further confirmation of the fact that it's fucking tearing up. What is the impetus for that? Who cares? I'm on a GME again. So 191, 192. How's everyone in chat? There's some TA, right? It's pretty good. I hope it helps. What's everybody else been saying? Wolves get hyped. Fuck the hedges. BH. You said feck. I said fuck. Hutch is ever chatted again. I prefer the foul language. Or did he? Thanks for the work here. Loving it, says Hutch as well. You're very welcome. And we're back to Luke with he wants his bananas and he's going to flip and get them. BH super chatted $10. Wolves get hyped. Feck the hedges. Yeah, it's like that. Wolves, aren't we? Ripping and tearing at them at the minute. So if you're buying this price action, you're making a good move, and all of my these sparks joy. Prices going up, TA. Prices going up. Yeah. Yeah, I'm giving you reliable price targets so you can rely on it. When I say prices going up, the reason I was so motivated to get into this, doing this, stepping up more, as you've probably noticed if you follow me on social media stuff and that, was like the people out here saying it's going down. And that I was like, well, they're doing this with impunity, because they think they're smart in that. So let's just give them a wee slap with the knowledge so they sit down. If it goes to 1977, Jamie is an alien. Yeah. Well, don't come and arrest me or anything, right? I kind of like settling down here. I've got a whole family and everything set up. It would totally bust my nuts if you came in and ruined it all for me now. It takes ages to assimilate as an alien. Learning so much. Thanks, says Evan. You're totally welcome. So glad. That's the whole thing. You're learning and then being self-sufficient and then being able to stand on your own 2 feet. Rocky Outcrop. So, baby, listen carefully while I sing my comeback song. All right, Apple, you're doing good. Rocky, you're doing good. Queen Bee, we're 130 away from the Dalai Lama story. Shit. whoa, shit, 160, 100, no, shit, it's 100, oh, it just went up to 180, phew, right. Because you see, I'm wondering, it's just this juxtaposition. It's like a dichotomy of some such, just heading down the tracks. I can see it because when price action gets crazy, people will tune in more, and at that point, they're not going to want to hear the Dalai Lama story, though it is appropriate. They're going to want to have me call out 190, 197, etc. 220. So what? Like it's pretty funny. Like yesterday, we said we went through chat and we said, what are your? I said. What are your price targets for close of day? And people gave their thoughts in the chat. And then I looked through them all and sort of got a rough idea of what the standard deviation was and what like the extreme versions either side of that were. And I have to say, chat, you did very fucking well. You did really well. Most people were within... only a couple of bucks of where it finished. You need to get their socials out there, my man. Yeah, my socials are... you can find me on Twitter. I'll be changing my username today. So I'm not going to repeat what it is on this video, because then it'll be inaccurate as soon as I've finished recording it. So I'm changing my Twitter username. You can find me on there. If you search... #Tradespotting on Twitter, you'll probably get some of my tweets, or at least people who've retweeted my shit, and then you'll find me. Subsequent to that, I'll have a different username, and I'll be able to tell you also. If you're tuned in, you'll see it. On Instagram, it's King Jamie the First, and it would really be good to get loads of people on Instagram, partly because sort of social circles I hang around in, lots of those people are complete fandans. And I think like if they saw an Instagram profile rising up that I was like talking with somebody who was like exclusively talking about GME and so on, and these people have got lots of money, I think they'd probably chuck shit in. So I want to like get that up a bit. But obviously, you don't have to worry about that. If you're only interested in funny things, I do like stories that are quite funny. Share memes on my story. I have to stop shaking my legs. I've got that shaky knee disease back because I've had about 8 glasses of coffee this morning. So King Jamie the First on Instagram, and you can find me on Twitter if you search #Tradespotting, and I'm sure I've got other social media profiles somewhere, but the main one is YouTube, and it's here. So if you want to share this channel on your social media, then you'll bring your friends along, and I'll be nice to them because a friend of yours is a friend of mine. What else have people been saying? 101. 8 Billings under. Lol, fun times. Oh, you guys are chatting. Great. Thanks for being here, Rocky, and as always, can't stop, won't stop, llama stop. Mo! Doomtime. Yo, what a brilliant name to be here, Doomtime. If people FOMO on 197, could we break through 197? Yeah, sure, but this is the thing, right? This is a concept, Doomtime, that a lot of people new to trading don't really understand the violence that exists within it. So when we break 197, when that happens, that won't necessarily be us buying at 197. That'll be those people who, like your chap, Deity Pastille, who believe that the price is going down with so much conviction that they don't manage their position, or they do, and they've got a stop loss. And at some point, the force of price action is just too strong. It overwhelms them, and it disregards their existence of their permanent denial, and goes beyond what they thought was possible. It hits their stop. At which point they have to buy the contracts they've shorted, and other market participants get liquidated, and the exchange or their broker liquidates their position by buying the commensurate number of shares the other side of the trade. And it's that violent death of your enemy at that price level that leads to the big jump beyond it. The people who bought at 184 are the people that kill the people at 198, 199. And those people who've badly managed their positions may enter again at this point. It's bad trade management. It's really bad. They'll enter again, add to their short position, and then apes will go back to 197, and then just getting back to the same price point it was at before then leaves people who were only on the edge of safety previously, then they're liquidated at a price that the price has already been to, and then that's how you go past levels of support and resistance. So that's the truth. That's what actually happens. But when you're new to trading, you imagine it's everyone who's on your team who's like just buying that little bit higher than you. But it's the fucking guys that you beat at 184. That's what's going down there. Doom Time, I love your name. Welcome to the channel. Probably been here before, but glad I got your message there. When MOASS hits, Jamie will have to hire a professional auctioneer to call out the numbers. How good would that be? Ape Andy would be fantastic for that. But yeah, if we could get an auctioneer in, like one of those really like, or one of those guys that call the horse racing, that'd be brilliant. I want the Dalai Lama store, even if the rocket is launching. Shit, we're even closer again now. Thunderling. Hey. Ape Alexander. Just dropping by. Morning, back again. I stopped my squeeze music playlist specifically to seek you out. I hope you're proud. Well, I am. I'm delighted. Thanks very much. I've been added to your listening, your daily digest. That's fantastic. Thanks for dropping by, and putting me on. But feel free to put your squeeze music on again and keep me just like quiet in the background, and I'll scream if something crazy happens. Like we're at 19271 already. That's not quite enough to make me scream, but inside I'm dancing around. Inside I'm like stripping off my clothes and like going mental. We should have a daily competition to guess the end of day price. Yeah, cool, let's do it. What's your end of day price, guys? Put it in chat. End of day price. Try and be as realistic as you can. I'll give you mine. I already did yesterday. I suggest that when we hit a insignificant price, it'll be like around 197. I could see that like prices ending there at the end of the day. It's like, you know, it'd be like a cliffhanger, right? On like your favorite soap opera, and you've got like Citadel by the edge of his tie, and they're like hanging off a cliff, like with their shiny bottom shoes, given little or to no purchase at 197, and like the increasing moment as they slide back, and your sweaty ape hands on the tie, the day might end there. What was I talking about there? Yeah, so we've got some great prices. Let's see what they are. Fuck, we've got loads of prices. So 203, 200. Like hey, how's it going, Akira? Andy W. Nice to see you, mate. Fapping it. Good to see you. Right, and we'll read these prices. 203, 200, 199, 200, 215, 193, 197, 205, 200, 204, 204, like that shit rock. 208, 56, 196, 24. Like that one. So there's money in the GME stand. Yo, Jay. Joe, 185. 198, 196, 211. AMC testing 15, yeah, 1484. I see that. I mean, it's obviously going to go up to 1545. It may well hit 1584 before it goes down. When I say down, I mean like similar to what I talk about this type of down, like a retracement in order to like trick those poor people who think that that was a top and they add to a short position, and those people are then what defeat their buddy, I imagine. And then that covering of his position, that liquidation of his holdings, pushes the price beyond everybody else's, you know, and they're like, fucking told him not to, but you know, you can't really say that when you're short in this, like. So that was those price calls that people were talking about, right? Why did I get off this? I was looking at AMC and I went back to GME and it distracted me. So we got 211. What was the highest one that people put in there? Everyone was put quite good, right? You were all managing your own expectations. I like it. 215 was one of the highest. And then the lowest we saw was... really, highest is in 190s, you see. Right. There's some good prices there. So 223 is the highest we've seen, I think. Oh, 432 is from Lane Bain. I like your optimism. I'll say 197 again. Flash days. Okay, that's like reasonable, eh? You can see we're on the same page there. Flash. Apple. Oh, Queen Bee's here. Yep, saw that earlier. Rocky, we're almost on a Daily Llama story. Shit, stop coming, guys. Stop sharing the video. I'm going to have to tell a story. I'm going And I would have to because I keep my promises. 182 from Goblin Attorney. Okay, so there's our standard deviation there. It's like pretty much everyone's in and around 197. And then on the extremes, we've got like the 220s and the 186-ish, 188 from Unlikely Trader. Nice name. And then there's hardly anything down below. I had a limit order at 180.15, missed by 70 cents. Unlucky, fapping it. 10 times soon in Motherwell. Yo, Anthony, how's it going? It's the Steel Man back. You see CNBC story that Kramer thinks inflation won't crash the economy. He thinks it won't crash the economy. What does he think it's going to do? Be good for the economy, for fuck's sake, eh? What does he think? What does he think? Like, it'll change tomorrow anyway, but what does he think right now? Probably, I kind of got a lot of respect for what he's done with his life, for his courage of his convictions, and the fact that, you know, he's quite honest about how he is when he ran the hedge fund, although he's like goes through, perhaps not always honest, you know. At times he's been very forthcoming. Wow, look at GME flashing like that in the bottom corner. This is our GME bouncing ball, of course, got right in there, so if you saw that, well done. Posture check time, shit. You're right, it was a posture check. Right. So yes, I should look more respectable too. I want everybody to tune in and think, hey, this guy knows what he's talking about, rather than, who's that punk? He doesn't think. Doesn't think. He's just a conscious wind-up symbol monkey. Bang, 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 buy, sell. Oh, you're fading the price, aren't you, Jim? You sneaky bugger, you. Well, I could answer that for you. Awesome, thanks, Rocky. Are you paying attention to the TA, Joseph? Where is Joseph? And what's Joseph asking? How's it going, Joseph? Joseph Harris, buy time. I love it to go to 120, to be honest. Buy time. Yeah, that looks like that ship has sailed, Joseph. Like, even worst case scenarios, like, I mean, there is a case to be made that it would go in for buys at lower areas. Like, if you look back on the price action, TA will tell you that if price gets to this level, it's an obvious buy. So then I'd put out that information, right? Like, because there'll be other people selling you the story that if it gets there, it's a fucking disaster. And the downside targets the really low ones. So I've showed like why there's buys in around 119, 69 even. Like, even down there, it's still a buy, right? Well, though people wouldn't feel that way because we've seen prices up high. But that's just maybe that's the story for like people who've come into this since maybe mid-February, and in which case they've not experienced the extremes that the rest of us have gone through. So their hands aren't. Haven't had the same amount of time to be forged into diamonds. So what was I talking about? Basically, live stream has been on for 4 minutes 45 seconds. Well, I know that's not true unless something happened and went wrong. But that's stupid. Like, everything on Streamlabs is stupid. Like, right. And I don't know what I was talking anymore. So we got some rough ideas of people in price action. And like I said, I did read all of chat yesterday. I was going through making frickin' chapters, right? But I was writing them in a comment I was writing on my phone as I was watching it on my computer. And then my battery died and I lost all the chapters. And I was like, well, fuck that, you know? Because I just watched the whole thing. And it was a 4-hour stream. So 4 hours filming it, 4 hours watching it. And I was going to do it again, so sorry. Bing bong, dilly dong, willy prong, flung to Hong Kong. Flung to Hong Kong. FF, nice one. Will there be any more dips to buy? Yeah, there's loads of dips to buy. But if you're asking today, like, did we not do that? We did do that, didn't we, chat? We said that this will probably happen, right? That this is what I think. If you're right, this is a possibility, right? This isn't one of the things I peg my hat on, but let's say prices try up and go up to the 197 that we said. They could go further, right? Let's anticipate they go right to wherever that. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but it's close enough, right? I could go down the time frames and do it closer. No, I'm not doing that. Anyway, so here it is. Like, so let's call that 197 because that's what I've been calling it. It's actually maybe 198 something. At that point, there may, because it's at this previous high, there may be a tiny dip down, right? Because people will be taking profits. We can't do anything about it. There are paper-handed bitches that just don't understand the profits on the table. And there's the common is since the beginning of time, people have traded things. Since the beginning of people have traded things, they've made the same mistake. They've let their losses run and they cut their winners. When you got to do the opposite, you've got to let your winners run and cut your losses. And this is why trading from a perspective of risk management actually makes you more money than trading like a gambler. If you want to understand that concept more, how you can make more money by trading with less and on lower risk and with lower leverage, how that will actually make you more money. If you want to see that, watch my video on Is Trading Bitcoin Gambling, where I explain how you fucking do it, right? How you trade. Anyway, why am I getting angry? 192.68. So asking this guy's question, and that's like, I'm not saying this is going to happen. I'm saying like from where we are now, right? Reminds me of this joke. I've told it before. It's a joke in Ireland. Like, if anyone comes up to you and say like asks you for directions, you say, "Oh, if you're going there, you don't want to be starting here." Which is always funny when you do it to people. I haven't done it in Scotland, but it's common in Ireland. Right, so you get up to that area, and then there may be a pullback down. You know, at that point, you're looking at, do we touch this area of what was our where traders bought these candles to a close in around 189.50? Like, do you get an order at 189.50? If you're desperate to get in, which a lot of people will be. They'll be putting orders there because they don't want to be underwater, right? And people I give trades to, they aren't underwater for long. Over here, then you've got 184.47, give or take, right? You put your own cents, orders to the cent, you're going to have to at least come up with that part of it. And then you'll have 184, maybe 185, right? And that would be an entry, and that's the same entry that more or less we gave when the stream started. Well, when we gave the orders, this is for people who are tuning in now and haven't seen it before. If you've seen it before, you've got way better orders already. Anyway, like, so that's that, and hopefully that's some help to you. Beyond there might be a 382 retrace because we've seen that on the thrust and moves here. I wouldn't expect it to go further than that, and then you might get an order at 174.94. Is that likely to happen? Probably not, right? And then beyond that, you've got like what's still a bullish retrace at 168 point what? Call it 20, even though it's a tiny bit less. You're probably not going to get that either, right? But like that's your entries if you're follow along with the Tradespotting method of trading, in which case things are going well for you. Congratulations. So there's your re-entries, and that's all predicated on the idea that we don't just slam straight through this area. Which people might say like, oh look, we went straight through it here and retraced to it, went straight through this one and then retraced to its test, and here we might go straight through it and then retest, in which case your entry would then be back at 197. That would be your entry, and that would be why that would be perhaps quite likely, right? And so because that option 197 ends up as maybe 2 or 3 of the hypothetical scenarios I've outlined, that's why my target is 197. So that's that question well and fucking truly answered. I haven't seen what you've seen, but you've seen what you've said, but I hope it benefited yourself and anyone else watching along. What else have been people saying? I hate missing chat. I put it on slow mode so I could see it all, and I'm fucking still missing it. Ape Andy, are you here, Ape Andy? Great to see you, Ape Andy, total legend. Where is he? Ape Andy is goated. Yes, fucking right. Where is he? I'm going to find him if he's here. He's a moderator. There he is, so I can see his spanner. All apes share Tradespotting channel to 3 other apes. The larger the ape army is, the stronger the ape army is. The stronger the army, the higher the peak, the greater the mother of all short squeezes. There you go, Andy, breaking it down, logical steps, making it as simple as it possibly could be, and motivating us all at the same time, and doing a good deed. Andy, Ape Andy, given to us from heaven. How you doing, Andy? Great to see you. So yeah, if you could share it with 3 friends, that would be epic, right? It really would be. And I'd suggest it's probably in your interest if you're here. Buy again time. Buy again time, says Joseph. Paul B, what the hell is Enron? We are GMC AMC only, please. Erron. Sounds very like Enron, doesn't it? We all know about the DTC and US Treasury will pay us our 10 days per US Treasury. They're going to get absolutely fucked. Thanks for everybody who's sharing all that information about the repo rates with me. That was delightful to read, and reading your comments along with it about how fucking angry you are and stuff like that. Interesting in your stories and life and that, you know, I empathise with all the people who've gone through difficult periods through no fault of their own and circumstances which were totally unfair. Tradespotting, what's the TA behind 19 million a share? Well, it's Elliott Waves, mate, and we were trying to put TA on Blue Sky breakouts, and that's very difficult to do. Yay, set up my stream so it actually works. Somebody would do that for me. Thanks so much. Oh, it's Bam Bam Bajana. Well, he knows what he's doing when it comes to these things, so that would be really handy. Cheers, buddy. Anyway, watch Denwo. I seriously think he's been shilled. I don't know. Who is Denwo? How do you get to shill people? How does that happen? Like, the closest I've even sensed that if it being possible was someone sent me emails, like a PR company from America sent me an email about a month and a half ago, had all this legal jargon in it about how, like, don't fucking share this with anyone and without prejudice, and like loads of other shit that I read and was like, this reminds me of nasty letters I've got in the past, but for some reason they're asking me for something, and it was like wanting me to talk about all their shit, saying like how the channel was doing, like they want to talk about other stuff, and they take like no commission advertising they get for me and stuff like this and all sorts of other suspicious bollocks. But it never got to the point where they'd be saying to me like, don't talk about GME, and I'd be saying, well, how much are you going to pay me for that idea, like so that I could expose them, which I would have loved to have done, right? Because that would have been awesome for the channel, obviously. So, and because of that logic, I think to understand why other people would be shills. Like, why would they take a shill thing, right? Because like, if they don't fucking take it and instead use that information to tell us all about it, then it'll just boost fucking price. Which is like, then they get the money anyway. So like, how's money a motivation? Is it just that, like, so how is it, right? How is it just that there's fucking dickheads around? Is that what it is? Anyway, I don't know who the people are, who they've shilled them, how that whole thing fucking works. Clearly, it's not happening to me. You only need to tune in for about a bed part of a minute to see that I couldn't really give a flying fuck. Denwell mocks people who believe in the MOASS. He calls them moon gang, says they're delusional. Yeah, well, that's what people do, and they're trying to seem like they're pseudo-intellectuals, right? They try to say, I know what's going to happen, and that, and it's like, I'm not telling you it's getting to 19 million. I'm saying it could get to 19 million. And we've drawn out the Elliott Wave with Rocky, who's like as good as anyone you'll ever meet in your life at doing Elliott Wave. I know that for a fact. New subscriber, Dennis Pickett, thanks very much, buddy. So he's good at doing it, and that doesn't mean it's going to happen. And neither does the DD all say that it definitely will happen, right? And that's the stuff that says something or anything at all. There's fuck all saying that it's impossible, it can't happen, etc., etc. There is nothing there. It's just somebody, and I'm not saying this guy's doing that, I don't know who he is, but I've also got absolutely no problem with if somebody is being a fuckwit, telling them they're being a fuckwit. Don't know if this guy, who this fucking guy is. Anyway, there's people who are saying that it's definitely not going to happen. They'll tell you they were right, whatever price it gets to, because people like me have said 19 million. So it gets to like 250 grand. They might say like, yeah, no, that's just this, and that's a squeeze, and it's this type of thing, you know. And they'll have like gradients of compromise that they go back through in the reversal of their attitude before they even get anywhere near admitting that they were completely fucking wrong. And like, so I don't know, but like, that maybe the same person that you're talking about, whoever he is, has got quite high targets and defines the MOASS as a different thing. And I can understand why people do things to get attention. So I don't know. I can't really help you, but I don't understand why people become shills, that's for sure. Shill would be ruined on here. Yeah, I think I've built this place up, like, so that there's not even any fucking idiot trolls. Like, I mean, I try to eat the little shitbags when they come in so that they understand that, like, I'll fucking embarrass them so that they don't fucking come here. Never mind a fucking shill. The right Patrick at the beginning, he wasn't that way. He pushes day trading but believed in shorts, etc. now. He pushed day trading on GME and now he believes short in GME. Well, he's not going to make very much money day trading then, is he? And like, if he has done in the past, well done, but that doesn't mean that it's going to continue. Someday there is a reckoning for every stupid person on earth. That happens. Right. I didn't do chapters because I had to run and get coffee. Sorry, I really should start trying to get in good with the whole family. Apple, you're a legend. You did chapters yesterday for Rocky, and that's great, and I can do them here. And you don't need to worry about putting yourself out. There's already amazing support for the channel and being great to everybody in chat. What's the volume at? Says somebody. What is the volume at? So we'll put this on. We'll put this... Stop annoying me. Thanks. Nope. Okay. See, so we said that there would be positive volume candles coming in subsequent to that previous one, which we're obviously seeing ding ding, 2 or 3 of them at least, and it keeps us up at resistance, which is positive. The volume for the day, we'll check in a moment. That candle there was 25, 22, 15. Markets have been open for, well, let's check that. That hourly candle, the volume was 38. Obviously it's not like block rocking volume until it's above 52, 55. And then over the period of today, as you can see, this is still part of a trend down at the minute. It's only just started, right? So this is the first 4-hour candle, so we can't say that like anything's necessarily changed yet, but this is unusual. It's already, in terms of 4-hour candles, higher than any in the previous 20 periods, other than these 2 or 3. And we've only been in it for like an hour and a bit, so that's very positive in terms of volume. It's also above the simple moving average that we've got running along here. That's how I was able to easily say it was above average for the previous 20 periods, because it's a 20 period moving average. So the more you're above that, the better. And if you've been watching since many people have come along since Bing Bong, then you'll be looking at the HP. We'll be wondering about the HPV, and we looked at that yesterday, and things are looking like it could explode at any moment, which is why we have the whole Bing Bong thing, man. That's why we've got these kind of fucking things on this channel, because we know what's happening. That we want everybody to be aware of it, and if it's as easy to communicate with a simple Bing Bong, that's brilliant. Because we're not going to spend half an hour explaining things to people who don't yet understand the full picture. I mean, some of us have got financial literacy levels have increased exponentially, right? Some people that do this thing are now better at due diligence on stocks than they are at their actual career at other things that they spent years learning, because this is so engrossing. It's gorgeous, and the gorgeousness, the gorgeosity of it is completely engrossing. So when people are doing this, they're learning because they enjoy it, and it's going to make them fucking rich. And that's that's one of the ways that you can align lots of positive feelings and values within yourself to live a happy, fulfilling, positive life. And somebody who shorts assets just because they think it's cool or they think they're smarter than other people may well make money at various times. But is that the way you want to live your life? Is that the way you want to live your life? Or would you rather speculate on the positive, right? Would you rather put your shoulder towards that effort to making a positive change and difference? Would you rather? Or would you rather just be a miser that wants to make money just for yourself, right, on an asset which could change the world, when there's fucking other assets that you could actually short right now that look shit? I gave everyone a short trade on Twitter yesterday. What happened to that? Why do you have to fucking do this on GME? Is it because you're just a fucking fanny? Is it because you're a complete fucking fanny? Because you don't need, I could fucking wail on your ass with insults right now. But what's the point when we're going to fucking go up to 270 and then 350? You're just a fucking idiot, right? You're just a fucking idiot. Fuck off and trade something else, you fucking tube. What's that saying? Yeah, bing bong. FF, never enough with GME. Yo, FF is either a troll or a bot. Are you? I don't know. Well, FF may be an X holder. Oh, right. What's FF saying? Rock out crop. Double check FF. Okay, guys, police in the chat. We got the chat police. Rock out crops. Haha, FF. If you're buying more than you can afford, then it's too much. 3 might be the perfect number. Well, it seems Lockie's handling that quite quite diplomatically. Well done. And like, hope you've got a thick skin, FF, because like no one's gonna like, people will stop the moderators and the nice people in chat control the culture here. I'm the person with the acerbic cutting aggressor. Everybody else in here's interested in being your friend, so feel free to like say what you think. Don't expect to change other people's minds. We're a bunch of unreasonable apes. We're not even really interested in slowing down in order to explain things. So if you're concerned, anxious, or worried, then perhaps this isn't the train for you. This is the fucking noisy carriage, right? If you're looking for, but not yourself personally, but if anyone's looking for the quiet carriage, we don't fucking have one, right? Maybe another channel does. Tradespotting, let's go. Haha, bing bong, llama stop. No one does raging like us Scots. Darren Thompson! Yo, how you doing, mate? Great to see you. You're ever-present legend. No one does do raging like us. It's true, isn't it? I wonder why that is. The moon, big inside the tube. Joe, we hit 1,000. I saw it. Storytime lol. I didn't see it. 898. Queen Bee, you're cheeky. 192 at the minute on prices. Came for that. Stayed for the TA. Awesome. Thanks, Sarah. How you doing? Hey, Alamo, good to see you again, buddy. And I'm going to scroll down and catch up with some more of the chat from the bottom onwards. Sup, Bellenders? Yo, Herman hits. Will the short hedge funds short attacks today, like yesterday? Was yesterday a short attack? I mean, I speculated at opening when somebody asked me what you would borrow 500 shares for. I said, well, you're not going to be able to push the price down very much. You might fade it on a top of a move, right? And you could push it from... when it gets to resistance, you could tap it down, at which point you could easily like capitalize on the shares you borrowed by just taking a wee short there, or hedging against an options contract that would allow you to capitalize on a little bit of a dip, which the whole thing was obvious to me. I called it to the cent. They might have done that, and I called it to a cent before, as price action was just opening for the day, like I fucking did again today. Like I'll do every fucking day if I fucking feel like it. And it may well have been that those 500 shares were just part of a stock operator strategy in order to accumulate a position slightly lower, at which point they'd hand the shares back. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like enough shares to cause a short attack for me. Certainly not anything in the guise of these ladder attacks that people have been talking about before. And this idea of like, it's not enough to do anything on the damage. Like, I mean, all it literally allows you to do is set a couple of different option strategies up that'll have, like, in terms of open interest, what effect was that going to have on the books? Like, you just compare those two things. You look at the volume in the previous day, and you look at the technicals on the charts, and you think, like, that 500,000 is for shit, mate. Like, it's not going to do anything. Like, it really isn't. It really isn't. Like, yesterday I was saying in chat, there was between two people who were in chat yesterday, who I've seen one of already today, and probably other ones there. They own 170,000 shares between them. You know what I mean? And there's like, what, you think a hedge fund's going to borrow what, two or three times what just two dudes in this chat have got in order to affect the price? Like, nah, fuck. Getting higher lows in the 190s, but divergence on the RSI in the 1 minute makes me nervous that it will be dipping in a bit. It may well do, but the dip... Wait a minute, let me read that. Getting higher lows in the 190s. Higher lows. Positive. And then we compare that to the RSI. I see where you're going with that. But you're looking at things on the 1 minute. Is this confluence with something you're seeing on the larger time frames? Because it's like contrary to what I'm seeing in larger time frames. And so that would be how you would analyze that. Down at the 1 minute, you would have come from the 4 hours. And if it takes you all the way down to 1 minute without you contradicting yourself, and you've proved that the statistical outcome is still likely down there, then perhaps you could take a trade. But I see what you're saying. What we did think about the dip was that it would perhaps go around in and around our prediction levels before it did something like that. Let's see, where did it get to so far? 195.50. Is that correct, chat? What's the high for today? Day's range 195. So I mean, it's very difficult to answer these questions. What do we define as a dip, right? To the areas that we suggested would be good entries, like 20 minutes, half an hour ago. It's like, it depends what you call a dip. You know, like, it's such a vague, ambiguous, muddy word. Like, a dip, a retracement to, for example, the 236, and then when you say that, it's like, it's a bullish that's a bullish retracement. So you shouldn't be worried about that. And if you're predicting a dip on a 1 minute chart, like how much of a dip, right? Like things don't move that much in 1 minute, even when things are going great. So it's hard to parse what you mean exactly. 192.10 chat. This is like consolidating at resistance as well, and that tends to push things through on the 1 minute chart. You might see RSI resistance. Let's take off the DMI. Let's expand the RSI. I've still got volume on here. I probably do, so I could take that off at the minute. Just buy, and then even get more purchase on this. Can I please have it? Thanks, Google. Google. Trading View. So sick of saying thanks, Google. Right, okay. Yeah, so here's your RSI. Touch the bottom of oversold into the overbought. So this is natural in RSI, regardless of what you're seeing on price action. You come in, I've said this a number of times, you come into the overbought zone, boom, here you're getting your entries now. Then you come out of it, let's touch the EMA and bounced up again. Like, the EMA is on there to help you. It doesn't define what the RSI is going to do. Rocky put this in because it gives you a heads up and there's less work to do. And the EMA is coming in, like, it gives you an idea that RSI may bounce at that point. There isn't normally an EMA on an RSI. And then your second time you go into the overbought zone, didn't make it higher. That is the RSI. That's the divergence you're talking about from the 1 minute. It's now you can see it on the 5 minute. This would have to be a retrace beyond the 236 and you would have to then be saying, like, comparing highs with highs, right? Now this compared to this is what you're probably talking about on the price action, up on the RSI, and the price action as being a lower high, but that isn't the high you compare it to, mate. The high you compare this to is over here. That's the high, right? Because this wasn't a lower low in between times. So like that you can't really compare that. But then if you do go over there, you can see that we are in fact below on the RSI and yet above on the price action, which you would then say, well, is that bearish divergence, right? And a panic merchant would tell you it is, but but hud your horses and look at this. You go in, you see, like, well, where's the price action? Here's the move. Here's the what we're calling a top. And are we going to put in candles that close below the 236? We've just gone beyond it there, so perhaps we do. Perhaps we could call this something we could start looking to divergence on. And then how far would it go, right? Well, we were speculating that, like, these sort of areas would be good entries when prices were up here. And people like yourself were worried about a dip. There's plenty of other people were thinking there might not be a dip, so I might not be able to get in. And that'll be the prevailing sentiment among market participants right now, because we're making new highs on the overall move, right? And this in and of itself wasn't any sort of higher high for us to then, really have really reliable divergence on. So it's a question of how far does this retrace go? And here we're at the 382. So on these smaller, like, we've never done this, the fibs on the 5 minutes to do this, right? They're not reliable. Like 15 minutes where you're looking for. So your 15-minute candle closes. Whatever wicks happen to do, they could go down to the 0.5, but the candle close being above the 382, that's still really bullish. So are these entries for people? Quite possibly. And how does this price action look like it's evolving? Well, we could draw this around it again. You could see, like, what's happening here. Whoops, that's on the wrong place. That's like, if you're trying to say this is the supply line, like when prices get up here, people are just eager to sell it. Like that might be what people also imagine when they start trying to call out divergence between these highs, right? But that's not necessarily the case, because what you want to be looking at is divergence over here at the previous areas where here, and you can see the RSI there. RSI here is actually, like, technically higher, right? If you see, this is your divergence walkthrough, right? There's your high, there's your high. This price prior is higher than there, so you might worry, is that bearish divergence? Well, look at the RSI over there. It's actually only here, and the RSI is part of this move. Like, it's like, is it lower? Is a tiny little bit, but is this retracement finished now? And are we going to go and make a top? In which case, does the RSI then make its way up to the top of the overbought zone, or even, like, touch above here? After bouncing off the EMA, and, like, how far can it go down in terms of a dip, right? Like, look at your, oops, pardon me, take that off again. And go off that brush. So you're looking at this and you're like, well, what are the other, what's the prevailing trend on RSI, right? Well, this is a 15 minutes, so it's not going to get much out of it. But there's like perhaps that, and the question is that more important than this idea of a supply line that going this here being some sort of supply line? Looking at this, this is a bullish formation on the RSI, right? And so much of it maintaining above the center line, and when it does drip down, that being such a strong buy. This is very bullish. So like, don't worry, right? Instead, let's anticipate it coming to this line again at some point. But that would be such a big drop on the RSI. This is an uptrend. If the prices don't get low, that would be bullish convergence again, or hidden bullish divergence. And then you'd be looking up at trying the highs again. And this is all characteristics of these sort of indicators when price action is at resistance. And it's like not being able to interpolate this sort of technical analysis is why people say like, oh, but it doesn't work on manipulated stocks. And really that's just them people, I'm not slagging them, right? It's just people who don't have experience of technical analysis, so they think to themselves, oh, here's it's doing something from what it's supposed to do, so there's an example of it being manipulated, and I've been screwed again by these trading bastards. But that's not what's actually happening. As we're back at 190 now, that's not what's actually happening. What's actually happening is the RSI is doing what it always does when price does the things it does at these areas, and like a little bit of experience would teach you that perhaps that's a positive bullish thing. So anyway, that's the RSI stuff. We can't really define it as being a high until price action closes below the 236 on a 15-minute candle, of which we've got 5 minutes less of this 15-minute candle where we're below it. And the question really is this a buy, right? Nobody's sitting here saying, do I take profit on my long? That's not what people are saying right now. Is this a buy? Nobody's saying, do I short it here, right? Because it's above resistance technically over here on the left. And yeah, people on the 1 minute chart, 5 minute chart might start thinking about divergence. 15-minute chart, you could like call that and say this move is maybe petered out, but then where does your retracement go to, right? And can you call it a dip? Like if anything that comes from the 618, that's a golden pocket retrace, right? Those are typical of then long, strong, trending moves if it bounces afterwards, which is what I touched on when I talked about why the fib circles rely on the 618 levels as opposed to the 414s or 382s or whatever what you might have imagined. 50% is like, especially. So like, is this a buy, right? And it sounds like I'm sticking up for price action. It isn't. It's just I'm saying like, it's not to be worried about. It's just certainly worth investigating. But the more you investigate it, the better it looks. The one thing you might start worrying about is if that does become, as the chap that said that, if that does become like that and we start putting in a wedge and we get some sort of like, we don't manage to burn off that potential divergence, which we'd burn that off literally. The price is back at 1960, right? This 15-minute candle might not even close below the 236. Like there it is. Now we're at it. Now we're at the 236 again, right? You see how this works when people worry, and the people on the other side of the trade want you to worry, right? I want you to be calm. And so how long have we got there? 3 minutes, and it's already above it again. And like other people were asking like, where's my dip? Where can I buy? And some people are like worried about a dip. It's like you got to match them up. Anyway, so what you want to not happen is turn it into some shitty little wedge and drop down again. Even if it does, like the 0.5, 382, 236, depends on where the price action goes. This top line might not even be right. It might be more something like this. I would suggest it probably is like. At the minute until it evolves to then be more of a channel and then more of a breakout, and then like people look back and they're like, bam, that cup and handle he was talking about was right. Bam, that head and shoulders led right into it. Fuck, we're on for the bull flag. Shit, it's 350. Get the fuck out of the way. Right, that's what happens. So these are the things to think about, not worry about dips. Anyway, yo, what else is chat saying? Look at all this chat. Thanks so much, everybody. 900 and something viewers. Fuck. Thanks, people. If you want to help the channel, you can support me. Join as a member. You can sign up to the Patreon. You can share this with your friends. And, yeah, you could tweet it. You could do anything. So thanks very much for everybody who tuned in. If you wanted to, and if I could ask you, if I could ask you to just hit like, that would be really appreciated. And anything else you might happen to do is entirely up to yourself. But if you could hit like, that would be appreciated. Jamie and Rocky are a gift to apes at the perfect time. Got to get the word out. Thanks, Existential. How did the number of viewers go from 1,003 to 878 in 1 second? Did we really have over 1,000 viewers for a second? Bloody hell. Maybe people suspected I was going to tell the Dalai Lama story, so people who were here already were like, time to get the fuck out, guys. Story time. No, didn't make it. We're down at... Shit, though, we're bloody close. But then the stream has already been on for... Streamlabs tells me 36 minutes. That's complete bollocks. I've been on since markets opened. Time is it here? 4:15. That means I've been on for nearly 2 hours. How's that possible? Is that possible, chat? Says it's possible. Anyway, so I've given price action day. I've talked about what's going to happen. I've helped you go over various aspects of it. This 15-minute candle may close with below the 236. Don't let that worry you, right? And you know, let's speculate that it is going down here, because I'm starting to think that it sounds like I'm sticking up for price action, which is a stupid idea. Price does whatever the fuck it wants. And it doesn't want anything. It does whatever the fuck it does, and it does it for absolutely no fucking reason. And if you think otherwise, you're fucking stupid. So the point comes, let's say this goes down. Let's say it closes below the 236. Let's say this is a retracement that goes on, right? The price is where would you worry, right? There's a good question. Where would you worry, right? Beyond the 618. If price is on this, it's on the 15 minutes, so you wouldn't worry, right? You wouldn't worry. Where might be an absolutely fucking kick-ass entry point if you look back on it, and you only started looking at this today, and you had no other time to get into pardon me, Jamie, because nobody told you about it before, right? Which is like 999,000 of every million people in the world still don't actually know about this opportunity, which is fucking crazy, right? It is fucking crazy, but people don't understand that good shit can happen. They just think like, nah, that's unreasonable, that's unrealistic, that's not possible. And it's like, well, how do you expect to ever fucking get anywhere, eh? Like, what seriously, how do these people get anywhere? Are they born into it already, so they're lucky that way, and then they can just trudge through accepting bollocks? Like, no, shit does fucking change. The only reason it changes is because you'll make it change, and the only way you'll get there is by stop being so fucking reasonable with people who are exploiting your reasonableness. They're taking advantage of the fact that you're a reasonable person. They're using it against you. Stop letting them do that. Tell them to go fuck themselves. We're not fucking going back to fucking reasonable land. Sorry, mate. But it's the middle of the fucking day. No, I can make the fucking noise. Like, anyway, at the point, I'm making the fucking noise. Right, so we closed at 15 minutes below it. It was literally on the 236, so in and around the 236. So it may well be that we see this drop down to the 382 or perhaps a 0.5. 382 is where we've commonly gone a boost up. It's also in and around where the resistance would be, the support would be if we're in this stupid little wedgie formation, which itself doesn't inspire me with confidence. So it may well be that we're back in something more like the channel we were drawing out yesterday, which is something like that fucking neighbour. See if that neighbour even fucking thinks about banging on the fucking glory crown again. Like, honestly, this is the wrong fucking time to be doing that. If you're watching this fucking stream, that's what you should be doing, buddy. What am I fucking doing here other than getting angry? Right, let's put in those. There's where the bottoms came in. This is like some weird ass thing now looking like that, so it could just be some simple little channel. That looks very good to me. It looks like this channel. It may well be that you come in for a 618 retrace. The time it takes to do that might be like, let's get that actually straight. By the time it does that, you know, you might be looking at an entry around 185. So again, back at this morning's best entry price, back answering the question from the other chap about where might you be able to get an entry today, where would I enter from now, where's a good retrace, I'm worried about a dip, I think that where's support, all the questions you might have about what downside targets, the answer is in and around 185. And would that be a buy? Yeah, for so many reasons that would be a buy. So sending you a beer, mate, dishing out some of the best info for nothing. Thanks very much. Hank, it's you again. How you doing, Hank? Or is it a different Hank? But I suspect it's the same. Thanks so much. What's everybody else saying? Drew 40, Apple Blossom, funny, respectable, yeah. Graham, now you're being reasonable. I don't understand that question. Welcome to Chimp. Carson A. Excellent. Thanks so much. And Shrew. Back at you. Someone's going to read this out, isn't it? It's you again. How's it going, buddy? Is this going to read it out, or is she just going to be wide about it all? I'm not hearing her. Back again. Anyone who teaches me while
Thank you for keeping my moral high, and I'm sure everyone agrees.
Now she's reading out stuff I can't see. Back again. Anyone who teaches me while entertaining me deserves my most support. Thank you for keeping my morale high, and I'm sure everyone agrees. Thanks, Shrew. Thanks for everybody who does agree. That's really positive. And thanks for the donation too. €5. Whoa. Thanks, mate. That's maybe the first euro I've got. Oh, I've got a £5 donation. I've got to check these things. Oh, guys, thanks for being so generous. Member Carson. Thanks for joining up, Carson. And then Hank. Got that one. I can click on this and it shows up. This is well handy. How come I didn't know about this? Shrew. Thanks, Shrew. That was very generous of you as well. Cheers, buddy. Mo. Oh, tuition fees. Absolutely appreciate the free lessons. Thanks, Mo. £5 in pounds. Oh, yeah. Thanks very much. That's really generous of you. Everybody, that's really generous. You've really... These things really help support the stream. You've no idea, especially because I was saying to people, I think I was saying it in a stream earlier, like, somebody's putting in stupid ass, spurious copyright complaints, and they come through, like, not from the people who might theoretically possibly think that what I was doing wasn't fair use, but from people that are like, stop this channel is their name, stuff like that. It's like, fucking stop wasting my time. Because that's all you're doing, wasting my time. You're not going to fucking change price action. I'm not out here fucking master fucking conductor telling the prices where to go. I'm telling you guys what the prices are telling me, right? So anyone who interrupts this channel isn't actually interrupting price action. You're completely wasting your time, which makes me think it isn't people that are short in GME. It's just people that are just people that are jealous, right? And I fucking get that everywhere, so I could understand. Anyway, why am I talking to these fucking people when I've got such really amazing people in here in chat being dead nice? And then there's another donation from Odin. Yo, Odin! And it's that guy again, and he's spinning around, and he looks like a pear. This is another Scottish insult. I like him, though. I do like him, especially when he's rolling and flying. So that's those donations. I've probably missed loads. And I've got another member, Matt. Welcome to Chip. Welcome, Matt. That's a cool picture. Welcome, Matt. What else have I missed that the thing isn't telling me about? Carson, I've got you. Thanks, mate. Thanks for everybody joining in. There's some nice messages from people. I see Native Flight again, Legend in chat. Katie, Apple Blossom, fire up that machine, cut some squares and saw them together. What are you talking about? This is from the Home Depot Hank chat that I scrolled past. We're never going back to Reasonable Land. You fucking bet we're not. And there's a really nice chap who's done a wee design saying that exactly, which we're going to slap on a t-shirt and put out on the store at the end of the week, one way or another. How I figure out about doing it, I'm not 100% sure. Probably the way that's like easiest for me, because I'm busy as fuck. So something like that. And like, I'm obviously not ripping people off. They'll be like as cheap as I can make them, while at the same time making a tiny bit of money, because I have to pay for the people that do the work, right? That's it. I'm not here to take your money. I'm here to get you a t-shirt that says we're never going back to Reasonable Land or Bing Bong or whatever other ones happen to be, so that you can have fun during the squeeze wearing shit that's like that. That's the thoughts behind it, right? Not to line my pockets with money. Love you, buddy. You're awesome. Thanks, Odin Menks. That's awesome. Thanks, buddy. Oh, I love the little emojis we got there with the syringes. That guy knows the chat. Lutum Wanum. Katie, quilting. What's quilting? Oh, quilting is the stitching. Is that what's happening? Stick some blocks together. Hey, that's pretty cool. And then you could have like a tapestry of many colours. What do you think about the volume? I think that who's asking that there? Jack All. Stefan S. Yo, how's it going, buddy? Good to see you. Dinman All-Stars, Ross Gilmore, Frank Sella, Seth Hancock, Dinman All-Stars again. Thanks. Ariel Estuten. Short story time. It fucking better not be, is it? Let me see this Streamlabs shit. What's it saying? 930. Nah, you're wrong. Every time I look at it, it's not. And I'm about to end the stream soon, so that'll be that if it doesn't get there. Same about to end the stream soon, but I probably actually am, maybe. I don't know. Am I? I don't think so. Whereabout in Scotland are you from? I'm from Edinburgh, Ross. You too have a very Scottish name. Where are you from, buddy? I was talking about something else there. I can't remember what it was. 1,004 viewers. There clearly isn't. I looked there. It was 930. So you're inaccurate. Plus we've got 2 dislikes, and so I'm taking that off the total when I see it. If it'll be 1,000 minus the 2, then it'll only count as 998. And you might think, hey, I'm shortchanging you here, and you'd be right. I am, and you shouldn't accept it. Hey, Lisa Anderson. Welcome to the family. Oh, if you sign up as well. Oh, you have. Lisa Anderson, welcome to Chimp. Fucking yes, awesome. Guys, like at the weekend there, I had a drop down in all the numbers. Now I'm pretty sure we're all back above it now. And though I don't know where you check all that stuff because I'm shit at the admin side of YouTube. Tycoon, $5. Thanks so much. Noble, $5.99 bananas as well. And sticker and bananas at the same time. Brilliant. Oh, yeah. Wow, you guys are awesome. You guys are really awesome. Thanks for making this all possible. Like, I'd love doing this stuff. So, Drew's Tech, you fucking signed up. Drew's Tech. Oh my god, if you got your shit fixed, anything that's electronic, Drew's Tech is the man. I wish he had a YouTube channel under behind his name so you could click it and then get through his information, see his shop, and see how much of a nice dude he is. He's an ape. He's a really nice guy. He's fucking gone out of his way for lots of people in the past. He's helped people. He's helped Rocky Outcrops loads. He's a super good guy, super good member of that audience. Super nice to everybody else that's there. Really helpful. Goes out of his way to help people all the time. Never asks for a fucking thing. And if you're anywhere near Drew, use his shop, like, and anyone else in here, like, support each other. Like, you run a business, let me know what it is. If you're near other apes, shop with these people, man. Shop with these people, man. Anyway, stuff like, I could go on a conversation about entrepreneurs and stuff like that and how much I respect them, but I'd get even more emotional than that. And at this point, I'll go upstairs and fucking smash that fuck knocking on the roof. He is going to get out of the dilemma time. Are you talking about the volume? Fuck, I never really actually got to the volume. Sorry. Yes, volume. Volume, what did we do? We had the volume on and we looked at the volume on its own. We could look at the OB, look, we're getting these trades here at 187.49. Here we come in for this information. There's a 0.5. Here's your 618. That's the bottom of this thing here. You know, we could drop below that wick style and then close here, and then that's like, looks like a 618 retrace, and then people buy it. So even if it goes a wee bit below it, it could be like, whoa, again. And if that looks like again, we've put in a low on the bottom of this channel, people are just going to go fucking mental buying it above resistance. Like, it'll go for what else is happening here? Is AMC giving us like a canary style stuff? Well, it's doing the same deal, right? It's coming all the way down, test its resistance. Like, what does we draw a fib on that? It's different fib, right? This is a totally different fib if you're looking at AMC. Something like that. And you're not even at the 236 yet, and you're above resistance. That's fucking awesome, right? And if that starts going up from here, right, as it might do. So either it's GME goes down to 618 and takes AMC as people look at each other. I mean, the people look between these, and they are like a bellwether for each other at the minute. If that bounces in the 236, GME is not going to wait around. If this GME goes down to the 618, it might take this down to the 382, right? Which is like, although I've got resistance and 236s and like other things drawn in here, that's the entry on that one, like 1380 something. So if it goes back there, that's an entry for a lot of people. 187. People are just going to be entering this now, right? There's the 0.5 here. There's the 21 moving average. Look how much time we spent above that when we're above it. And like, we only just got above it there. We're on it at every candle since we went above it until now. So another touch of it. It's likely to bounce. Like, that's just the way that stuff goes. When you go down to the 618, then you're on the 50 minutes. We're not seeing all that much. Let's look at the MACD and see if there's any of these signals, right? Well, to there now does look like it may have been divergent, but then you're not really comparing these because these aren't the highs, right? The high's back here and it's lower than that. So like, although that is kind of maybe perhaps like a touch of Class B divergence. This move itself, the second one, the Dutch down, right? So this is something to look at if these divergences to come true from that chap's one. I'll look at the volume in a second, but this is interesting me. That move there, obviously it was a higher low. Was this the same fib we're using from that? No, let's take that fib and use it for this. Oops, what did I do there? Move that back wherever you came from, mate. Oh no, that fib is right. There. And at the time that one came to here, right? So this one we could say, right, this is like looking for confluence, and what the past is a prologue, right? So here was a divergent high from here to here. The price is like here higher, RSI lower, right? That's bearish divergence. In an uptrend, that's bearish divergence. If you want to learn more about divergence, tune in to Rocky Outcrop. He does the best TA on YouTube, hands down. Tune in to Rocky Outcrop. youtube.com/Rocky Outcrop. He's the best at TA. I learned all of this from Rocky Outcrop. Well, some of it I learned at the same time as Rocky Outcrop, but when I would be learning it with him, I'd be like, fuck man, does this mean this? And he'd say, not really, and he'd explain what it actually meant. And that's why you have this qualitative layered knowledge that I deliver, because so much of it's learned in combination with someone who's a fucking genius. Who's Rocky Outcrop is literally a genius. You know, in any way you define IQ tests, he's a genius. If you meet him, you agree he's a genius. And at the same time, he manages to be reasonably socially adjusted. So that's like an achievement. 187.75, right? And so I was getting distracted by because loads of different things, right? I wanted to look at indicators, and then that got me into thinking about the comparative moves here. So here's one where we had some form of what might be seen to be similar divergence across here. It's not really, right? Because we were at the top of the oversold zone on that one. You can expect that. And this one, it's not really there. It's like also fighting around with the EMA and jumping in and out of this area. So there are, like, as you can see here, reasons why retraces from that tend to then be still bullish. But this is what we're looking at, all the way down to oversold. So let's say it does the same thing again. That would look like up, down, upstairs, up, down, upstairs. So then it's just like that. And this would then maybe perhaps touch this oversold zone, come up again. What would that look like on prices? I suspect it would only take us just below the 168 on a wick and then back again. So that still looks like, you know, this is just like what sets people up for re-entries, and like this price action might be caused by people who are aware of that and just wait, and then it's like people taking profit or nervous, anxious, or people entering shorts that push the price a little bit down. Pardon me. Prices tend to fall under their own weight if people aren't buying it, right? This would be a common conception. So that doesn't mean that it's not bullish. It just means that people are waiting to buy it somewhere else because they're sensible, probably, or it's obvious. And this is to a degree obvious. That 618 buy is quite obvious, right? You've had it shouted out to you with this line where it touches once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, right? Does that mean it's going to get break? No, this is a horizontal line of support, right? That doesn't like necessarily get weaker with touches. If it bounces off it, it increases the validity of it. But resistance and support are things that are horizontal, right? People make decisions at price points. They don't make decisions at like angular degrees of angular momentum, right? They make them at static levels of price. And if they're sensible, they don't chase prices. And they certainly don't chase them 15-minute candle after 15-minute candle after all the way fucking up. You don't do that. It's not how you trade. Anyway, we were going to look at the volume like the chap asked ages ago now. I got it on here. I've got various things that I could use that are like it. It's stuff for later episodes. Just normal volume, what you like. Oh, well, I mean the volume oscillator. This is old news. I hate using that thing. It's years ago. Right. You give me the volume, mate. I'm not looking at the VPVR either at the minute. I'm just looking at straight up volume. That's what the chap's asking. Give me the fucking volume. There it is. Why didn't you show it before? Did I spell it wrong or something? So there it is, right? Nice. Let's also put it on its own panel so we can look at it on its own. Right, as soon as I'm putting this on now and you're all here and some people don't know about this sort of stuff, right, you've got green and red candles on your volume, which is defined by whether or not the candle that corresponds, like candle is obviously the one directly above it, the corresponding candle is positive or negative in price action, right? That doesn't mean that the majority of those trades and transactions were positive or negative, i.e. longs or shorts. That doesn't what it means, right? It means that the price action finished below where it started on the beginning of that candle if it's red. But it could have been that the majority of transactions were people buying long. That sounds counterintuitive. Well, it's not. You can only buy what's on the books, and maybe people are putting more and more orders on the books, right, at lower prices. And if that's happened more frequently and people are buying, then the price action goes down. And this is why price action tends to drop under the weight of itself, right? Why am I talking about this? I'm looking at volume, right? And so that was defining just why having them as red and green actually gives you the wrong idea, right? It gives you that this is negative volume or positive volume. That's not the case, right? It's just a representation of how many transactions went through in total. There is no way to define if they were positive or negative overall, only with the way that the trade went, and that's a tenuous connection at best. So the way I do this is I change both these colors to white, because like I'm not a tube, right? And I'm not going to be interested in being tricked by looking at red and green, right? Which is a false cue to your brain. You don't need that, especially when you've got perhaps hundreds of things going on at once to make a decision. Last thing you need is to be thrown off by some stupid candle. So what can we tell from volume? 30 minutes isn't going to tell us much. Let's look at the... Oh, it's been open for a couple of hours, so we'll check the 4-hour candle. And we can bear in mind that we've only been on for all these previous 4. I've not got any... Why is my moving average not on this? Right, 20 period moving average. You see why I was saying that earlier, right? And I don't like that stupid yellow, that orange, that yellow do. And then why not make it visible, right? Trading View, what's wrong with your obsession with making things invisible, right? So there's your volume. Like the simplest way to look at volume is like, is it above its previous averages? Are we doing better than we've previously been doing in terms of volume? Better as in higher, and that's defined by this 20 period moving average. That gives you the average of volume in the past 20 periods. I'll add it up divided by 20. That's how this average works. And so we're above that. We've been above it for a number of them, but as I was saying, these other ones constitute full 4 hours. This is just a couple of hours. This is just over, what is it? 16:34. Markets have been open since for 2 hours. Yeah. So this is only half of that 4 hour, and it's already challenging up here with what are significant volume candles. So volume is picking up. That would be like the first statement I'd say. If we go down and look at it, say on the 30-minute candles, you can see that any one of the 30 minutes hasn't been higher than necessarily the high ones in the past. Certainly better than the 20 period previously. All 3 of them, there are 4 of them. Every candle today on the 30 minutes has been above average in the 20 periods beforehand. But there have been higher candles back. It's just they're not really sustained. I mean, even after these ones, it died. It literally, when was that actually? I've got pre-market on there. That's at night time, so the volume's going to be nothing there, obviously. Right? I've got post-market and pre-market information on the charts here. This is sustained and higher than previous, but we're on the smaller time frames. You want to see if that manifests in anything, or if it's just the start of the day, as yesterday's volume started off well but then petered out. So again, you can see that this is building up, right? In the second hour of this was very positive. We're now in the third hour, and it's in a trend, an increasing trend. We're only how long into the third hour? So halfway through. The candle's already approximately half of what the previous one was. This is still sustained. We'll see how it goes, especially if price action bounces. We're at 187 at the minute, 188, sorry. So the volume, and then when we look back at historical volume over like, they were all intraday trends. You can see that nothing yet has gone absolutely bonkers, right? We're still below the daily simple moving average. Yeah, we're only a couple hours into the day, Jimmy, but like most of the price action kind of happens at the start and the end of the day. So, you know, if you wanted to see this explode to hell, like you're looking at perhaps something different, right? Look at the 12-hour candles. Might give us a better picture of that too. Is this too simple or too much about volume? Maybe it is, I don't know. So you look at the 12-hour candles, on like days that you can see were magnificent, you've got like a 12-hour, like your 12 hours is your whole trading day. It's more than your whole trading day. That's why I was trying to do it on the 4 and but anyway, you just like we'll just go back to the 4. We're not going to learn that much from this. So you want your 4-hour candles to be quite significant, right? Like you want them to be blowing up, and like if we go back here, we can see like we all know when this was right. So you can't quite ask for that every day, but you can ask for it, and you will get it soon. There's still not like rockets yet on volume. Still not. despite being like an increase in what it's been before. But this is because we've been conditioned to thinking that this is normal, which is all like, so this is your volume, right? And from a technical analysis point of view, there isn't really anything on these time frames yet to confirm or deny any of your other work that you've done on other technicals, right? There just isn't. And because volume is a huge part of technical analysis, like you're not getting all that much from it yet, right? You could put it on the OVV, you could look at like the relative increases between now and previous times. You could do that, and you might use that in my particular trading style. I don't need that, right? I've got other things that do that. I've got other puts and other indicators, thanks to the work Rocky's done, that constitute for and do better than the things that would tell me anyway. So this is what I look at. And then another thing I'd look at would be the HPV, historical volatility percentile, and SMA by Valley Poors. The one to use, the one by anyone else is just copying them, and it's probably shit. So those are the indicators, and these are the people that make them. And the people that make good indicators are very, very smart people, right? They're not just fucking around. What was price? 189.89 prices, and maybe have done a little bounce, you know. Oof, great, coming up for lunchtime. Maybe that's what's happened. And it's not lunchtime with you. It's way after my lunchtime, and all I've drunk today is 85 billion gallons of coffee, right? Did I answer your volume question there? Sorry, I have nearly forgot I was on a fucking stream there, getting so comfortable with you guys. 856 viewers, we're not getting that Dalai Lama story today. Story time, forget FF, right? He's forgotten, Space Captain. Pal B, Canadian here. How's it going, Pal B? Well, I've said hello to you many times, and I know you're in Canada. Just discovered this channel. I love the vibes here and passion. Unreadable. Nice one, mate. Good one. You're very welcome. If it suits you, then it's for you. Will the short hedge funds short attack today like yesterday? Oh, I've answered that question. Miles away from chat, recent chat. Sorry, go down to recent chat. Sorry, hate doing that. People think like, what's he reading that chat from hours ago for? Andy A, volume equals facts. Facts are always important. Exactly. It's just we don't have many facts on the ground yet. They do confirm other things. Look at that price action there. Is that turning around? Rocky, Tikkun, it looks like way due to volatility. There will be lots of talk about that too. I would imagine the misinformation is great, and how much people talk about fundamentals helps the day trader. Yeah, true. Same, Taika, right, Wayne Moon. Love this positivity on this channel. Is it positive? I'm super glad it is, Drew. Because I read the commentary about it, other people say about it, and there is a lot of commentary about it, and you either like this or you don't like it. And it turns out if you don't like it, you're really motivated to do something about it. I don't fucking understand. Like, if you don't like it, fuck off. Like, Arcane Divine, nice name. I just meant it in the chat. I don't think I'm a meaningless human or anything. I don't think I'm a meaningless human or anything. No, Apple Blossom's a very meaningful person. I don't know what happened there. What are your thoughts on 10 million floor? Is that even realistic? It's my hope, of course, for life-changing wealth. Or are we just being hyped? Says Kyle. Is there something wrong with being hyped? I don't know. You mean like that other person that asked, is it delusional? Like, which is again then touches on your own psychology rather than like what price action is doing. And like, I know I called this a clockwork banana, this episode, but it's not like, I'm not a psychiatrist, right? The answer is it possible? Yeah, the math says that an infinity squeeze is possible, right? That you say 10 million. Mate, take 100 million. What's infinity to you mean? The question is, what do other apes do? Right, and if we all hold, then whatever the fuck we want, we get. Right, that's the simple answer. And stop people asking me stupid fucking questions like, "Is it possible?" Fuck off and watch another channel where people explain whether or not it's possible. This is a maglev of pain heading for a heart of darkness. Get the fuck out of our way. Whether you're a well-meaning, ill-informed person, like Rocky was saying yesterday, a well-meaning, ill-informed person is worse than a completely misinformed, ill-intentioned person, right? So you can have like serious questions. You can be a rational person. You can be reasonable. And someone like AndrewMoMoney or TradesTrades will give you what you need, right? And they'll probably tell you to sell at places where you think that's acceptable and reasonable. And they'll be speaking to your psychology where you're already at. I'm somebody who speaks to people who are not fucking taking it anymore. They're not fucking taking it anymore. They're not fucking taking it, mate. Not fucking taking it. Is 10 million unreasonable? Yes, it's fucking unreasonable, mate. It's fucking unreasonable. But I've got news for you. Is that not only is 10 million unreasonable, 190 is unreasonable. Like, it's unreasonable. Right, $350, that's unreasonable. Are we going past there? Yeah. Are we going past 1,000? Yeah. Is it unreasonable? It's fucking unreasonable. And it's us. It's the unreasonable train. It's getting faster and faster and faster. Space Cabin. Yo, Coco, how are you doing? So I've woken up Coco now. Look what you've made me do, buddy. Anyway, it sounds like I'm getting at you, but I'm not. I'm getting at anyone who wants to hesitate us with questions about what's reasonable or not. I mean, like, why? What's your even like? Is it reasonable? Is it unreasonable? Is it reasonable? It's unreasonable. Yeah, it's unreasonable. Is it unrealistic? That's a question to you ask your psychiatrist, right? The question about whether it's possible is like we've proven it many a times, and I'm not the guy to prove it to you anyway. There's like thousands and literally thousands of people doing DD that well and truly proves that it is possible. And like, who's got time for explaining it to people? You know, like nobody's got time for explaining it to anyone. Like, get your jobby catchers on, pull your socks up, tie your shoelaces, get yourself over to Super Stonk, read the DD threads, and then you'll know the answer. Then when you're hyped to fuck, properly hyped, and you're not worried about it, come back and fucking chuck the hype in here, and we'll all go fucking mental. Because the question, oh, it's Kyle Cooper, you're a nice guy. Sorry, I'm answering so violently tone of it all. But like, yeah, it's fucking possible, man. Like, it's possible, yeah. Psychiatry, yum. I know, like, this is what, right, we're just here for a meter reading, right? We've not got time for the old in-out, buddy. Tradespotting, this is not reasonable land, exactly. Some viewers go up when Jamie gets going, so I dare someone ask him when he will be selling. Don't fucking ask me that. Jamie is Dick fucking Value's Scottish twin. I'm not quite up there yet. I love that guy. I wouldn't put myself even in that the same. I'm Rocky's TA twin, and a compliment, just somebody else putting his shoulder to DF Value's wheel, right? Just putting my shoulder to the wheel, no mercy, exactly. It's unreasonable that the uber wealthy think they deserve what they have. It's fucking unreasonable that people are born into poverty, can't get water, can't get access to food, and die a horrible, painful death of starvation. Well, there's people like Ken Griffin in the world. It's a fucking disgrace. It's an absolute disgrace. And when I've finished with pushing this particular wheel, I'll be pushing other, bigger ones. This YouTube channel is going to grow. It's going to get known for doing some serious fucking damage, and people are going to know to get the fuck out of our way. Like, we don't spend our time answering questions. We just look at price action now. Back at 192, what was the retrace on that move? Well, it's still not above previous highs, so you're still thinking about this divergence, and RSI hasn't gone anything hasn't yet joined us in completely unreasonable land yet. So we're waiting to see what that does. But like, this is a retrace from the 382. You know, we talked about how that was part of this. That was a feature of this thrusting move on this timeline and every timeline. When there was dips which come maybe like in that sort of with that regularity. And they always go to the 382, so if there's just more of the same, then this is just more of the same. Question about the divergence is like, it was Class B at the best of times. If you look back here, it's like, it's debatable if these are even like of the same nature, because here we've put in what might be a high or low. So, and like, we already knew we were in a tightening spring, so this is just a retest of that previous resistance level, which we broke through, plus it's at the 382, so that's like very bullish, right? That's the super bullish thing. So like, you know, I welcome everybody to come back here when the prices are at 300. Like, well, like I've told you, this in the fucking title, right? When the prices are at any of those levels, like, look for each other on social media and be like, yo, mate, I was there when you were there. We know all about this shit. Yo, we got it. And don't worry about people who fucking don't know yet. That's like the zero gauge of whether or not this is going to happen, is that there's people out there in the world who are ignorant to that it's going to happen. It's not your job to answer for why. It's just our job to buy, right? And people who tell you that, oh, buy and hold doesn't work. What the absolute fuck are these people thinking? Like, oh, the squeeze is only possible in the option chain. Again, what the fuck are these people thinking? Ugh, God. Like, you know, and that, like, I get pestered with stupid, like, I have to answer questions for people who've seen people putting out bad information. And, like, those are the questions I'll answer off.
Loud brother, keep preaching the truth. Thumbs up. Thanks for the sincerity. Cheers, tumbler glass.
Tumbler glass. Oh, that's a nice message. I like that. Rocco Groupie too. Sing it loud, brother. Thanks, mate. Yeah, so like it's not your job to answer those questions. Like if there's really people out there who've like been misinformed by looking at other YouTubers, they intend to end up sending me a message, and off stream I do answer most of the people who are about to make terrible decisions because they've seen the wrong thing. Like I try to prioritize those messages, but it means I have to read everyone's messages in order to know what the content of them is. So if you feel like I'm not answering you, it's probably because I'm not answering 100 other people who like also are asking questions which you don't have time to answer. You know, you can probably answer them yourself reasonably easily. And if they're ones that are people are asking about like particular option trades or like this and that and all the rest of it, I try to help them as much as possible. What happens is, right, people send me a message on Reddit because they've seen one of these threads. They ask me about a particular options trade that they're thinking of taking. I tell them like, well, you know, fair enough, but what you're trying to do, this is better. I never fucking hear from them again, right? I never hear from them. I never see them in this chat box. I never hear from them again. I've only done it because I answered them because they wanted to save them money. I ended up helping them make shitloads of money. You never see them again. Like, so I don't have time for these parasites, right? That are just here to steal my knowledge and my time, which could be put to helping a group of people who would all benefit all at once, right? And they're not just trading on options just to make a little bit of money for themselves and then they don't care about GME. Like, it's so hard to know, right? Yeah, I still keep persisting in helping these. Anyway, why am I getting stressed out? This is such a great day. What the fuck am I doing? I'm just so 191.67. So prices are doing like what we said they would do. It isn't, but maybe it should be. What am I on? What maybe I should I be? Video Vandal. Video Vandal. That's a good name. That's a really good name. Get yourself an Iron Brew, pal. Thanks very much. Yo, that's exactly that's enough for 2 Iron Brews in the shop below me. You're very generous. If I ever meet you in real life, I owe you an Iron Brew, mate. I owe you 2, but I'll give you 1. Post MOASS, what are the chances to start to see roving bands of fascist street gangs targeting those of us who destroyed their precious status quo? Oh, mate, don't get me started on fascism. Iron Brew. Why does she not like to read out all of some messages? Like, I swear she's really temperamental, that woman. Don't get me started on fascism. I tell them, Jamie. Thanks, Brendan. Vlad, right off into the sunset. I know we're looking at volume in the open market. Could the figures be started with the dark pool trading? Yeah, definitely, right? You look at what you're... trust me, mate. I've been there, I've worked there, I've seen it. The volume on the dark pools, on things like this, when stuff like this happens, volume can sometimes go fucking crazy on the dark pools, right? Especially if there's shitloads of fake shares. You can be like looking at it like, how's that even fucking possible? How is that possible that in those 15 minutes that happened and it looks like it might have happened 7 times? And today, you know, and you're like, well, let's add that up, and you're like, whoa, fucking hell. But the truth is, what happens on the charts is real. Everything that's ever going to happen that will affect the price happens on the charts. So don't worry about what's going on in the dark pools, right? Even a lot of that is like, people know you can see a lot of stuff between people, right? A lot of stuff's like hedgies fucking with each other. Tradespotting, most questions, if not answered by you, get answered by chat, which I think is great. Thanks, Space Captain. Yeah, I totally mean to answer questions like that one there, you know, chuck in some knowledge. But don't worry about dark pools like that. It can't manipulate price on the dark pool. You can't. You can use the dark pool to manipulate the price depending on a larger... Like, that's a really poorly constructed sentence. There is interactions between the dark pool and the exchange, obviously, and they affect the price. But the interactions on the dark pool and people between each other don't, and there's no reason it should, and we don't need it to see it because it doesn't tell us a story that we'd be able to drive anything from. It's far too much fuckery on there as well. You spend more time talking about what it takes to answer questions than it would have taken to answer them, lol. Go back to the TA, says Corey Philbrook. Am I? Sorry I'm not being more concise for you there, Corey. Tradespotting, most questions, if not answered, thanks. Well, I've done the TA, Corey. That's the truth. I've done the TA. Like, I've really done it now. Like, if there's any question you could possibly want to ask me about the TA, then I'll do it. And you're probably trying to help me out there by directing me to my MO, which is a mission here. So thanks for that. But and in return, if there is any questions you might want to have, just ask them. And the chances are I've already answered them. But like I will do it again if that helps. So cap down here, Cheese Jacker, what a name. Bing Bong, Space Captain talking to Hunter Thompson, 2 legends there, and another legend. Thanks guys. Jackal, Rocket Crop, same here. We all got to do our bit. Well, I'm doing mine, I can tell you that. It's not much, but it's honest work. I love that. I love that so much, that phrase, in this moment. Tradespotting, did you already decipher what Ryan's Twitter's Ryan Cohen's Twitter post. No, but let me see what it is and I'll tell you what he means. We're talking about today. Where's the search on Twitter? This is what, like, honestly, Twitter, do you want to give me a search box? Am I stupid or something? Explore. I have to go here. Yeah. If I could help, if I could spell a chat. Oh, I'm following him. Only following 4. Am I one of these people? Ryan, get yourself, like, oh, well, of course he doesn't spell DFE, so he can't really, can he? But still, get, you know, come on. This one here, don't try this at home. Is this what you want me to interpolate? It must be, because I've seen his other tweets. I responded to that one. So let's see, what does this tweet mean? Let's interpolate this. I don't know, guys. I'm thinking about loads of different things. Partly thinking about stuff from my own life, so I'm getting distracted. What could it possibly mean? Well, let's like it. And shall we retweet it in our ignorance? Let's retweet it, even though I'm still ignorant right now. And then it's obviously not about the character in particular. It's about what's happening. I think what's happening is he's saying that price action is going to float up, 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 and it's going to be dickheads like us that take it there. That's my initial understanding of it. But there could well be something else, chat. It could well mean something else. I don't move that to get you off it. I get back here. Right, so let me know what you think of the thumbnail today. Like, I put a lot of effort into these thumbnails, some of them. Generally into the narrative that goes along with them, but then also into the thing they do, because... What's AMC at the minute? 14.4, right? 14.50, so it's hovering around there. It's sustained. GME's back in the 190s. Consolidating right up again at resistance, you know. It's lower though. This is lower than here. I want to see it do better, but then it's higher than over here, so like you would maybe anticipate that thrust has been corrected, that divergence already that it put in. This, I suspect this will burn that off, chat. I suspect this is going up and we've had our best entries for today. But we'll see. And yes, so let me know what you think about the thumbnail. So I'm going to do the t-shirt thing so that people get a t-shirt, and don't want to try and particularly make money off that particularly. Pardon me. I want the chap who, well, pay the chap who did the design, right? Because like, obviously that's the way the world works, and it's a really good design. He's a really nice guy. So that, but if you want to do some designs and shit like that, and that, I can't pay everybody, but like, literally been paid $1.90 something from YouTube since it started. So, like, not because that's all that I've been donated for, but like they don't pay out as when. Anyway, I'm not yapping, right? I'm just saying, making t-shirts, but I'm not trying to make money off them. But I was thinking I could sell the thumbnails as NFTs because they'd be nice memories, especially for people who've like made shitloads of money off the trades that I've said on those particular days. So I was thinking about that. If you want that, like, I could do that. But not to take the piss, just in case anyone was interested. Like, it really isn't to take the piss out of people, and I probably won't do it because I've got absolutely no time, and I've actually got a real business to run that's not anything to do with this sort of stuff. So, what is everybody else saying in chat then? Everybody, Tradespotting. People have said my name. Need a standard Tradespotting t-shirt? Yeah, definitely need something. Or a standard snapback Tradespotting hat. Snapback hat, that'd be cool. But then do I suit hats? Would buy a bunch of Tradespotting and Rocky Outcrop shirts. A bunch of them. Cheers, Paul. Start/R Tradespotting. I did that 1337 gaming. I did it, and I put in a post when I started it. I was like, hello me in 24 months. Let's see if I can help some people. So I started it and I posted that. And then I started making these fucking videos. And it's not just helping people. There's some people I'm going to fucking destroy. Do we need to donate somewhere else, Tradespotting? Do we need to donate somewhere? You don't need to donate anywhere, Apple. You can donate super chats. You can donate. You're already a member. You can do the Patreon. You can sign me up Patreon. You can join up there. I've lost members on there, but whatever. You know, some suit some people, does suit others. Perfectly fine. There's absolutely no need to do any of these things. It's only if you want to. Still keep going anyway. Recording on my phone as and when it's working. Is it working actually as it happens? Yeah, it is, thank goodness. Right, so yeah, I'm only catching up with people's messages in chat, and if you hate on me for talking about money, I'm sorry. I don't want to be gratuitous and stuff. I'm really not making much money, so it's not like the other YouTubers that cover this shit. It really isn't anything like them. And neither is Rocky Outcrop, and he puts in so much effort. Anyway, you should go over there. I heard our Tradespotting. I second this. Go over there. It's there, guys. You can see it. And there's people on there, like, again, I can't answer every question, less so possibly on there, and like a couple of people asked me really trenchant, important questions, which if like had to go and do research in order to answer it, spent hours doing it, and I get back and it helps that few people, and I'm glad about it, but I wonder sometimes if it's the best use of my time, because there are other people doing it, and like my value add is mostly the TA. Can send design to any t-shirt shop in the world, save delivery, etc. Yes, send a design to the t-shirt shops and they can do the delivery. Yes, I'm looking into the various different ways of doing it. Like they've got, Streamlabs have got some shop thing and they'll take care of most of it for you. And I was looking at like the least amount of work possible ways. And I was trying to say like, but nobody wants to buy some shitty t-shirt, eh? Like even if I wasn't making any money on it, I don't want to send out some scaffy thing. Like even if you're only going to wear it once during the squeeze, like I don't want to send out shitty things. Like people will say like, oh, this is that and that, and anyway, so it's less about making money and more about what people want. So let me know on our Tradespotting what sort of merch, what sort of places to get it from, what's the best way of distributing it. I'll share the designs from the chap that's done one that I think's nice. You can tell me if you like any other ideas and we can get some shit together. And it's only if you guys want to, and if you don't want to, you obviously don't have to buy it. I'm certainly not pushing it. Tradespotting, kilts, please. Kilts, well, a proper kilt's 7 meters long, and they'd be well flipping expensive, and the postage alone would be ridiculous. But you know, maybe I'll get a kilt out during the squeeze and have a fucking. That's maybe too much, but we'll see. Gaming, it's already there, buddy. Reddit.com/r_tradespotting. Great. Everybody's catching up. Somebody said my name there. Do you believe Ryan Cohen will announce the total votes? It depends how many over the 100%. If we're over the 100%, which I anticipate us being, just on the votes, because it's like such a like there's never been a phenomena like this before. I expect that we will be over the 100, but even if we aren't, it doesn't matter. And if we are over it by a significant amount, and I say a significant amount, anything over 140% is like going to be a massive fucking problem for someone to fix. If anything like that happens in the votes, which like can you imagine, yeah, I think Ryan Cohen and everybody in the world will be talking about it, and they'll be talking about it as things are burning down around them. Tradespotting, will the RSI be more of a hindrance than a help in judging the squeeze peak? No, I love the RSI, mate. It's brilliant. I mean, if you know how to use it, you can build in the. Was that Jeff was asking? No, somebody else. And now the thing's moved. It's a good question, education, eh? If you're experienced at using RSI, it won't be. It'll be a real help. It'll be a real help. You'll have to use it in combination with support and resistance, and you'll have to. If you've experience of trending moves and using the RSI at the same time to like judge velocity and things like that, then it will be a help. I'll be using it and I'll be making sure I put it to good use. But then there will be pictures on it that you might find confusing, especially if you see us like breaking what's like would appear to be support. Like we won't have tested any areas or reconfirmed any areas, so people will be like unsure as what is support and what is resistance when we're in the squeeze land, and they won't know, and it'll lead them to making bad decisions. So like what you want to be able to do is build in a number of confluent factors, right? And I've talked about various indicators that I'll use during the squeeze and judging like price action as to see whether we maybe have turned around or maybe we're going to turn around or where people want to get out and so on. And those prices, those indicators I've covered in other streams like the parabolic SAR, like that'll be a big one that I'll rely on a lot and be using like things like Donchian channels across various timelines just to make sure that that's all done properly, and then like putting all my knowledge with regards to candlestick patterns and stuff like that, the sort of stuff that spent years trying to make sure I knew properly, but it's actually like dry ass information. I'll be putting all that together. So, you know, you can't ever rely on one indicator, right? You need at least two confluent indicators to ever take a trade, right? This is like why I tell people, would tell people before I started YouTube or asking me how to trade, I'd be saying that, right? So, and I remember that, and it's real. You need at least two. I tend to use between 2 and 5, and commonly 3. the RSI would often be one of them, and it would be RSI, Rocky's RSI, which has got slight adjustments to the parameters, and it got that little EMA in there, and it's better than a normal one. That's way too much of a question answer, but like too much of an answer for your question, but that's generally speaking it, yeah. What else people saying? Shanana, Rocky, that's what I'll be changing my name to, Richie Rich. Redbubble is easy for shirts. Okay, cool, but I've heard people say that Redbubble's quality is shit, and like they take a massive cut in that. And like, why charge people $25 for a shirt if like Redbubble are getting like $20 and you guys aren't getting a good shirt? It just seems like, and if I'm maybe going to do it, I might just do a limited run of them, you know, like 50, like, and then 50 people can have one, because not everybody wants one anyway. I don't have to make 1,000 of them. Doesn't have 1,000 people like me that much. Right, okay, outcrop, that's what I want. I'll be changing my name to Richie Rich. We've got that one. Tradespotting 16-ounce coffee mugs. Yeah, fuck, that's a good one. I noticed you and Rocky tweak your indicators. Do you get? Yeah, we tweak them all the time. And the way they're built is slightly different from others. Like, can people rely on the DMI? Rocky's got a little changes in there, quite important. Do you guys have a video on setting up them? Maybe I'll just use Rocky's trading view, but I'd like to learn what changes were made. Oh, right, I see what you mean, Jeff. Learning the changes that were made. It's unlikely he's going to put time into doing that. Maybe he'll explain in his videos about how to install the indicators and how to use them, the things that are different about his, possibly. And if you go to hit Rocky Outcrop, they're all Rocky's indicators, right? And he's better at this than me. Like, go to Rocky's page, youtube.com/Rocky Outcrop, and then look on his educational playlist, or there's an indicator playlist, probably on both, and in there you'll have like the DMI, the RSI, you'll have loads of other indicators too. Like, there's never been a better explanation of the Ichimoku cloud than Rocky's, right? There has never been one. There's never been a better explanation of how the DMI should work than Rocky's. And these are all indicators I'll be using during the squeeze. So if you want to understand what I'm doing then, or you just get better at trading, you should check them out. I can't recommend this highly enough. He'll not make any money off it. They're all free. There's a link there to like Gumroad or whatever it is, where you can give him money if you want to, because he also needs to like run his YouTube channel, and we both do it on like old phones. We're not fucking YouTubers are making loads of money from YouTube. Anyway, point I'm fucking making is that, yeah, Rocky Outcrop's got indicators. You can use them on there. He'll tell you how to use them, what there's different about them here and there, little bits, but I'm not sure he's going to walk through the code with you. He'll also tell you how to add them to the charts and so on. So if you think that sort of stuff would be helpful, check him out. I certainly do and recommend it. Right, so I'm answering questions now rather than like giving anybody added value. I don't think Kiltstream would be awesome, lol. Don't forget the blue face color for the ultimate effect. Maybe steal Rocky's hair too. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Education again. Yo, thank you. You're welcome, buddy. Rocket Crop, starting stuff out. Thanks very much, Rocky. Unless you're talking to me, if you need to say anything to me, Rocky, you know you can. Everything's good. If there's anything you think I should talk about, Rocky, let me know. If there's anybody else who's got anything specific that I haven't answered before that won't just slow us down, go for it. Ask it. Apple Blossom, that's a fun one. Yeah, it is. Tradespotting, thank you. I'll study up. Cheers. Cheers, Jeff. No problem. You're 100% welcome, mate. Everybody's welcome. That doesn't slow me down at all, that sort of question. Things that are about improving your own trading, ask away. And particularly ask Rocky, because he's got better answers for you, but ask away. That's not something I think throws flack under the wheels. That's cool, right? That greases the wheels. Like, people understanding and being better able to do this shit is what it's all about. And that stuff is free, right? That is free and always will be to everyone. Rocket Crops, thank you, Rocky, thank you, Rocky. Right, Billy Bragg once said, "Hit me on the head with his." Billy Bragg hit you on the head with a guitar. Fuck yes, good one, Betsy. Jamie, grow attached like Rocky. I would love to put on some Billy Bragg music right now, actually, but I can't. I'll get copyright striked again. Jamie, do you grow attached like Rocky? I'm sorry. I do, but rarely post on there. To be honest, I'm Rocky Outcrop on TradingView. I think, pretty sure. Maybe Rocky Outcrop with a space or whatevs. Yeah, you'll find him. Tune into his streams, and I'm sure he'll put a link in the description to everywhere else you could go. Worth his life. 197 19258. Is that? Oh shucks. Are we? Let's look at the technical analysis then. So for the chap that said it, pointed it out earlier that I was taking too long saying how I would answer questions and not enough time doing technical analysis, which was somebody trying to be friendly. Somebody being friendly. So I don't need all of these fibs. I've got all these fibs on. Oh, that's that one. Right. We'll just. Do we want to go over a quick synopsis of the TA? I mean, like I say, that's what I'm here to bring value with, so maybe I should keep doing that, right? So this is it, right? This is what we're looking at right now, this move here, and how long is it going to continue for, right? That line doesn't mean anything other than to point out the direction it's going, which is obvious to me, but some people need these visual aids, and the way you think about things, I understand. Like, I've also got lots of quirks about the way I think about things. I'll go into that some other time when people are interested. Anyway, the point being, this is the direction it's going, right? And this is the move we're looking at. And I'll don't delete that now so we don't have to see it. And we're measuring this. And this phase of it is slightly different from this phase of it, right? And we think we're in a channel. And here we were in a channel. It was dropped out of it. And there was a retracement. And that retracement took us to the 0.5 of this move, right? That's part of a cup and handle. That's expected. Then we go on up again. There's expected to be confluence here. This is all what you would expect to see. You know, you question the divergence. You question the strength of the trend. But you've got these positive crosses on the MACD that like sort of wipe out this idea, you know, and like there's that, is that divergence on the MACD there? Yeah, there is. So you got to bear that in mind. We don't need that one on. Like that's lower, whereas this is getting higher. So there is a degree of divergence there. You know, everything's not set in for sure. And like 197, we not even get there today, right? That might not happen. It might be this is a target for the week. And so like you have to burn off these divergences, but that's what happens when you get to resistance and you stay there. It ends up burning off divergence, and you can't say until we've put in a low. And that, as you say, the 236 that we went below before we went straight back above it. So there's nothing to say that'll necessarily happen. And if that keeps happening with RSIs increasing, then there will end up being no divergence. So we're in this channel. Channels don't have measured moves, but they tend to break the other direction that they're going, as this one did, a drop, and then it constitutes a retrace of the greater move. So we've made a higher high. The question we ask ourselves here is, if there is a drop, is it higher than this low? Here was a higher high, and then higher again. This was the higher high, potentially higher low, then higher high. Now what we're looking for is a higher low. So anything that comes in higher than that, that will then be 1, 2, and the third one will be a third, and that'll be 3 rising valleys. And it moves from that sort of thing in a positive formation. You're looking for a move up to the 1414 extension on that particular fib, right? So let's draw that in. There's some other TA for you for today. There's that move there. The 1414 takes us up at $207. So it could be that we go up to around there if a positive break off. If I get a retest and then a positive break upwards, 207, then a wick back down at 197, we'd probably finish up, and that would be that. That'd be that wrapped up. That, and we'd then come back and look at the next moves. Also, this is all part of a greater formation that might be a cup and handle. Cup and handles like after the trough is met, and in some very strong, commonly you'll see a double bottom type of formation form within that cup. Here's the cup. This like, does this invalidate it? No, not necessarily. Like you might have thought that was the cup, and here's down, and here's a low, and like that was a lower low, but it was bullishly divergent, and so like this all one movement. And then so when you come up to gain here and you test the top, you're kind of like confirming that all of this nonsense before was panic, and that this is maybe the real move. Then there's a retrace. If that's higher, like as far as 50%, can go more, but it's as far as 50%, then it goes up. People start saying, this is a cup and handle. And the measured move on that is from the bottom trough to the rim of the cup. So that would be something like this. Maybe not even up there because that's a wick. Let's take it to something reasonable there, like that. Let's say, and you get like 60% of this particular move you can expect to get. That takes us up around 2618. You'll actually only get 60%. So you might be looking at somewhere in around the 220s, 230s, 220s. If this breaks up again, you'd expect a pullback to test. May come down as far as 200 again. And such to maybe even go down, dip down to 197, which makes it a buy again. So like this is like confluent price action. It's also positive, and like although we have seen divergence there, we'll measure that at should it play out, should it come to fruition and actually prove to be divergent. Pardon me, getting the hiccups. Yeah, there's birds out there having sex with each other. It's very distracting. I mean, actual birds that fly around. There's, fuck's sake, there's, what else was looking at here? Right, yeah, so we're also in a larger formation, which is a bull flag. This is your pole, this is your flag. It's very extended, right? But that happens, especially with powerful bull flags. That can happen a lot. So let's hope that it does prove to be true, because it would be fantastic if it is. And something, the measured move on that, like, people draw them differently, right? And there's a debate to be said about where the top of this pole is, and I completely with everybody who does it different ways, but this is the way I do it, right? Fair enough. I'm not with them. I can understand where they're coming from. And so price action breaking out from this sort of height, it doesn't matter where you, like, this is where it's breaking out from this height horizontally, so then that takes us up to our previous highs, up at around 480, 490, 500, right? So if people are asking you, like, how is that possible, like, how is that possible, it looks so scary, I'm worried about it, like, these are what we're talking about, targets off this move, right? Even day traders are like idiots, like, cutting their, like, because they have to, right? Like, they have to cut from risk, they have to separate their position from risk, so they'll do things here that actually are going to cost them money if they could keep it open and go to sleep on their position, but they can't. And I've got nothing against day traders. That's how I fund my life. I'm a day trader. Everything I've got in GME stays in GME. I'm a trader. That's why I'm here doing this stuff. And I actually trade everything else you'll see on this list on the left. I traded all of this stuff, apart from this bottom one I added yesterday to do the TA on this move for this guy. And I asked about it. What happened on this as it happens, like, not that I fucking give a shit, but what did happen? There was the entry point for the short. The prices never hit our stop loss, it went down. That's a 4 hour, that's wrong. 15 minute, what did we actually see and where did we get to? Why is our long position not showing up on this chart? I don't even like this shit and it's making it difficult for me. I'm about to fucking ditch this. Anyway, I imagine we were right on that. What's it doing? Well, you probably got the long we were talking about, and that's probably going to last until this here, and then you're probably going to get the short and get out of the long, and you'll probably make money on both sides of it, and that's how I make my living, right? That's how I live, right? It's certainly not from YouTube. It's certainly not from, like, whatever. It's not from this. It's not from GME day trading. That's not how I live, right? That's not what I would recommend. What's AMC doing at the minute? It's strong too. We've got us all the way up to that 3rd of February. We're talking about the 236 on that. That's good. Rocky will take over this AMC stuff for market close. So tune in for Rocky. He's covering market close today. His TA is better than mine. 191.82. Like, so we're finishing up our TA here. There's the moves we're talking about. There's a cup and handle. People might disagree with that. Fine. Welcome to. There's a bull flag. People might disagree with that. Fine. You're welcome to. What's the negative formation we're in? Tell me. If this is forming a bearish pattern, what is it? No answers, I would imagine, from these people, right? And if they did have one, they'll have it in a little closed conversation where I can't tell them that they're talking utter shit. They'll never come here and say it because they know that I'll slap them. So, and I mean that metaphorically, with the knowledge. I make them look bad in public, so they'd rather just scream and shout in their little closed room. So, and I understand, right? I scream and shout here, but I'm winging it to the masses, I hope. Right, so anyway, that's that. And I'm getting distracted talking shit. And your chap that was right earlier, you know, maybe it could have been read as a little bit of a brisk comment. You spend too much time doing this and that. Like, I mean, honestly, I'm not inviting critique. So anybody who's got, like, a critique for me and think that it'll motivate me, you're wrong, right? It'll actually piss me off. And I'm not interested in your fucking critiques. But if you actually want to know something specific, just ask me. And I'll happily cover it, regardless of whether you're supporting the channel or not. I'll try to answer everything. Yeah, and it's like, if you want to critique, I prefer it was the price action rather than my method of communication, right? I find that to be rude. That's what I find. But I'm also a nice person, so I'm not going to hold it against you, right? I'll understand people make mistakes. Let's look at that volume. Is it picking up a bit? Your simple moving averages, we're putting another positive candle there. This is a 15 minutes. This is a trend starting. What's that doing? This is a new trend starting on the volume, folks, perhaps. Not yet confirmed on anything like the hour or the 4 hour, so it's like premature. It may be our volume for the day, it may not be. It may be a change in trend. Things are picking up, folks. This week is big. This week's different from last week. Last week was different from the week before. And next week will be different again still. This is good shit. I like it. I like it a lot. Right, so what is everybody else saying in chat? How is everybody doing here? Let's click, finally get to the... What am I doing with that? I don't want that. I do want this up. Bear with me, sorry chat. Want this up? Yes. Right, so that's it. And we covered that other stuff, didn't we? Did I cover everything I wanted to? I don't know. Like, I don't plan for these things. I think I did when I was a young boy in Bulgaria. You were in Bulgaria, mate. That's a nice, interesting 20 Pascas. Although I think maybe, I don't know, existential mushrooms. I see we're having a conversation about this. Thank you for doing this daily, bro, Michael Cockrell. You're welcome, Michael. Thanks so much for saying that. You're very well. Cosmic Lightning Warrior's back. Rocky Outcrop. First time watching you last night, brother. Great stuff. Oh, Cosmic Lightning Warrior and Rocky Outcrop. You guys should do some TA together. Should do some collab or something. I think these are both good. Obviously, wrong critique. One critique: need more Iron Brew in the background. Doug Bono. I do need more Iron Brew. I used to have it. I started off this channel. I was like, I'm gonna lay Iron Brew. Like, I'm gonna tell everybody to stop drinking piss and start drinking Iron Brew. And then I actually forgot about it. But that chap donated earlier, and you've donated $2 there. Maybe you were the chap that donated earlier, and that means I'm well stocked on Iron Brew. I'll read back through all these things and catch up with all the messages I've missed at the end. Christy Merchant, how you doing? Tony Pescas, that's great. I really want to thank everybody who's signed up to be a member or Patreon. Obviously, yep, I do. In front of me, right here, and I actually need it in my belly. Need more in the tummy too, as Rocky says. Yes, in my belly. You've seen him, another famous Scottish person. What is it with Mike Myers and Scottish people? He's really funny at them. Anyway, hi Jamie. That was Vlad's famous line. No, Jamie, that was Vlad's famous line. What did I do wrong? I'm quietly rooting for a podcast. Shit, did I say something that Vlad said? That's totally a coincidence. I didn't mean to. That was Vlad's famous line. Oh, so Tony said that. That's right, of course, yes. I was a poor young lad in Bulgaria. Oh, it was so tough for us in Bulgaria. Like, you know, we didn't have the latest iPhones, right? We didn't have the latest iPhones. We had to just deal with shitty iPhone 7s. Oh, it was a tough life back then in Bulgaria, you know, and the way he says it is if the fastest mode of transport they've got is a donkey, rather than it being like an amazing country with an amazing history. And I understand things are tough there for various reasons, but at the same time, it's not like it's fucking, I was brought up in Ethiopia, you know, and then what is the, like, that doesn't let you off with then turning into a total fucking dick. Like, just, that was Vlad's famous line, wasn't it? Like, and I don't need to explain why he's a total knob. Like, he does that perfectly well himself. And that, see that Clubhouse where he came on and he was talking about Elon Musk and he was all like, oh, and Elon Musk started going like, oh yeah, like I'm going to be asking you trenching questions and like putting the spotlight on you. And he ended up just like being all buddy. Like, this stuff's a massive setup, eh? Fuck these people. Matthew joined Chimp. Awesome. Another Matthew as well. Oh, I recognise you, Matthew. I've seen your comments and your chat. Thanks very much. Christy Merchant, Night of Flight. Everybody doing well. No, Jimmy, got that one in. Christy Merchant. Goblin Attorney. Haha, great. So everybody's talked. And like, I will be able to read the messages when I go back through and make the chapters. And I won't miss a thing. And thanks, Ball Drubble 85. Rocky and Jamie, will you be streaming during the MOASS? Been learning as much as I can, but insecure, low on confidence in these situations. Yeah, no problem, mate. I completely understand. Completely understand where you're coming from. Heart goes out to you. I was just like yourself when I started. Really scared, and I'm not sure if confidence is the right word, but I did find it difficult to find the courage of my convictions, that's for sure. And I don't find that problem anymore, I can tell you that. Whew, that's a big change in me. Anyway, yeah, no problem. Yeah, we'll both be streaming during the MOASS on our own channels and going across and back and forth to each other and trying to set that up with other people. Some people are more open to it than others. Some YouTubers are worried that how I might be on their stream. So we'll see which ones are up for it and which ones aren't. Like, and I can't contact everyone. So if you want to like set something up during the MOASS, it's obviously better to do it in advance. And like, you can do it like any of my social medias, right? You can contact me there, and we'll set something up and try and get it. And I've got loads of other things for during the MOASS that should be fun planned. So hopefully they'll work out. And yeah, so we'll be there and we'll do it. But I'd also say to you, Bald Rubble 85, if I'm reading your name wrong there, Bald Rabbi, not Rubble. Thinking like Barney Rubble. That was getting me into that name, which would have been an awesome name. Bald Rabbi, also not a bad name. But definitely not Barney Rubble, is it? Let's be clear about that. What you're saying there is, when my heart goes out to you, like when I empathise and I'm immediately feel protective and defensive over you is that you said insecure and low on confidence, And the truth is, confidence is a choice, right? It is choose to be confident, mate. With regards to being insecure, that's unfortunately not a choice, and it can easily comes from feelings of anxiety, which is what is very common in somebody who wants to be doing the right thing, right? Not making assumptions, not being arrogant, aware of their degree of their own ignorance, and wants to do the best they possibly can. And it's such a very strong and positive quality, and that's what I get when I read your message, and I want to help you out as much as possible. So the best help I can ever give you is to say, watch Rocky Outcrops videos, right? I'll call price action and be entertaining, and that's what it is. And I'll try to be educational at the same time in a way that seeps into people's minds, right? That's part of the reason the message is delivered this way. And it's also so that when you seeps in, you get that strength of conviction, which I have, that people in day-to-day life will say, whoa, he's so abrupt and kind of difficult to get along with that guy. That's what people feel in my life, like a lot of people, not my family and friends and people who know me, but just that's the brush shot you get, the rub you get. But that's coming from because I've seen and done this shit so much that there is nothing but the ability to rely on myself. So just choose to, and then focus on the learning, and that'll all come with time, right? And then also it's wise as a trader to have a healthy degree of, let's see, that membership comes up down there, and then a face drops into my glass, and then a face fell out of my glass. Oh my goodness. I didn't notice that the faces went in there. Am I not paying attention to stuff right in front of my face? That's unusual. Right, I did notice they went in there, but there's so many in that. Thanks so much for everybody signing up. So, yes, I'll be streaming during the stream. You don't have to learn everything beforehand. It's unrealistic to assume you're going to be able to learn everything beforehand. I don't tell everything anyway, right? I haven't been like, lesson. There are lots of lessons. But it's not like some curriculum. I'm getting everybody up to speed in time for the MOASS. That's not realistic. I'm not doing that. I'm just doing some of the bits that'll be necessary, talking about what I'll be doing during it, and then during it, I'll be doing it. So you're welcome to follow along. And I've had loads of questions, people saying, are you going to tell everybody when to sell? Don't tell people when to sell. And other people saying, I really have no fucking idea when to sell. I'll be watching you. And I'll tell you what I'll be doing, right? I'll be streaming it. And I'll be calling the price action as I call the price action right now. There's no fucking chance in a million years I'm going to say, sell your position. That's not going to happen, right? And I'd be fucked either way if I did, right? There's huge parts of these communities, including our one and the people around you in this chat box, will be like, don't do that. And other people will be like, please do that. I'm not going to do that, right? What I am going to do is call price action like I'm calling it now. And the chances are what I say happening, it'll be right, because the chances are that's the way it goes. That's the way it goes. And I'll be saying, here are times when people have sold, right? I'll be able to identify on the charts that people have sold. I'll be able to tell you that price action is representative of people selling or a continuation in this move of the MOASS. I'll be able to say, here we have reached a level that other people will sell at because they'll be afraid. But that hasn't happened yet. Hold on. And hopefully people will benefit. But it won't be so specific as that. It'll be, I'm holding. Right? Now, bear in mind, I'm holding to ridiculously high numbers. And I say ridiculously because it will be ridiculous. Right? That doesn't mean unrealistic. And I'm not having that fucking conversation anymore. But it will be irrational, unreasonable, absurdly high numbers. That's where I'll sell, and I will sell above 20 million, right? I will sell some above 19 million, 19.5 million in there. If and when we get there, I'll sell huge chunks of what I've got if price action doesn't continue up. And when I say doesn't continue up, means after it does continue up and then comes back down again, that would be the point I would sell, right? This is me who's hoping that that I can reach through the soul of these bastards who have directly affected my family and rip the root of that person out from inside their fucking body. At that point, when I can smash through any even remaining semblance of a metaphysical version of that fucker and rip it out of him, that'll be when I'm ready to sell. But before that, there will be points when other people want a heads up and they're not prepared to take a certain amount of risks and they're going to go through it. And I'm not going to say sell, but I will say things have happened. This has happened. That has happened. And it's up to you to make your own decisions, right? I'll tell you how to do it so that you don't affect the price, so that your other subsequent orders, because you're not going to fucking sell everything all. Like, I mean, like, stick with this show. I'll tell you how to do it, right? And I'm sure I've said it like loads of times before, right? But I'll tell you the ways to sell that's best for your broker, right? And some people are on eToro, like, fuck knows what I'm going to be able to tell you guys, because it's shit. Seems shit to me, right? Maybe good, but it seems shit. H&L, I'll tell you, is right, the filler kills, that's your best option. And like, so then you need to know even more. You need to know the TA and be tracing the books to know when to make those decisions. And I'll be doing that sort of stuff. And I'll be doing it with Rocky, and I'll be doing it with other YouTubers at the same time. And hopefully they'll be on the same page as me. And if they're not, I'll be fucking kicking off in chat and what, like, so they better be doing it properly. And that's why they don't want to do it with me, because they know that what I'm like. But at the same time, like, guys, you, like, anyway, what question was I answering? I can't remember what I was asking. Oh yeah, I was helping the chap who said he felt insecure, and I felt like, no need for it, mate. Don't worry. Yeah, I'll be giving all the information anyone could possibly need to know. But I'll be doing it in a way that helps the MOASS, right? And if that comes at the expense of a few people not getting their orders because they don't have the conviction to make moves, or because they don't get what I'm saying or whatever, like, that's just the way it goes, right? Bill Kennedy, you're the man. We are all the men and the women behind this, and it's not just us, the man and the women. It's not even about championing any one person, right? It's the people, like, the people that are in this, the people that we're doing it for, are like the people that run society, like the actual people, the actual human power that runs society, not the fucking money wankers. Hey Jamie, I love the channel. Nice one, Ryan. Thanks. Just want to say, if you noticed, you had a spelling mistake of psychology in your channel description. No, I didn't. Thanks very much, buddy. How did I spell it? Not like that. What did I spell it like? Unsure if that was intentional. Haha. Well, I could say it was, but it wasn't. And I don't know what I spell it like. That's how you spell it, like you've written there. I'm not sure what I wrote. It's funny though. When I went to school, I got expelled from a number of schools until I got into one of the best schools in Britain, at which I did better than everybody else, apart from a couple of people. And I got there, having been told in previous schools that I was dyslexic, that I was put on extra classes at lunchtime. I'm told that I wasn't able to do things, eh? So, and I proved them all wrong. And I'm still proving them wrong. So fucking bring it on, anyone who's got a fucking problem, like. Tradespotting intraday looks like a giant bull flag at the minute. Yeah, today's the intraday patterns I don't pay much attention to, but you have put in lots of good points today, Edgy Kearney. Thanks very much. I feel like I'm bad because I've read so many of your messages, and I'm sure I've missed more of other people's, and they might even repeated them, and I'm super sorry. DMC17, crayons. Oh, DMC17 is back. Yo, and so Stefan talking about you guys are good. I'm glad you are all getting on. Right, 218 million is my floor, just like how AIG was bailed out in 2008. I have to not specifically talk about the AIG bailout because I just have to specifically have to stay reasonably calm, if not reasonable. Yeah, so as we were talking about at the start, the open of the show, we were talking about how there is an importance to evil in human nature, right? And I am despicable because I do give free rein to you and violent impulses against these hedge funds. But that sense of freedom is also what makes me and us human. These streams, the numbers of people that tune up, all the different ways you find them, you tune in and see a passion with which we all crave the destruction of these few powerful people that control the world. That passion illustrates the extremes of both freedom and frustration and suppression that we all feel in life, which is unnatural, which is superimposed, which is there before we're born, and which is used to control us our entire lives. People who criticize you, who tell you that it's not realistic, that you're being unreasonable, these people are hypocrites. if they're long and they're saying they're going to sell before we get to unreasonable land, they are hypocrites. They're only here along for the ride, right? They don't understand the mission we're on. They fail to understand that we come from a place of higher ethics. And where we're going, there is going to be a bloodbath, a horrible massacre, a bonfire of vanities. If you can't handle me saying go fuck yourself, that the market cap of go fuck yourself, everybody didn't agree with this, if calling people a bunch of wankers, if calling people out for doing negative things that don't have any idea what they're talking about but claim to be intellectuals or putting across information when actually it's so-called bollocks, then you're not going to last as a member of this audience, right? So don't think I'm trying to appeal to you. Don't think your critiques are relevant to me. They aren't. If you don't appreciate my tone and untamable rage, then you have no place where we're going. You will not have the stomach for the ultra-violence that will happen in these moves. You have no idea of the damage that taking a long position is going to do to these bastards. And if you can't handle that ultra-violence, then you're not going to be able to live with yourself afterwards. It's going to be brutal. We are the product of evil. We were born into a world run by fools, liars and thieves. If you don't understand, you never will. I'm not here to educate you on the why. We, and this feeling I have and share with so many people, is a natural human reaction to the bastards that run the world. And we will have our bananas. See you in Rocky's stream later on, chat, where he'll be bringing the day to a close. And then I'll see you here again tomorrow. Live. Love yous all. Whether you're a paper-handed bitch or a doomslayer, thanks for tuning in. It's appreciated. And I'll see yous all soon.